Oh, what happened? Oh no. Where'd you go? Where'd she go? Oh my god, I lost Sarah. Hi guys, I lost Sarah. I lost Sarah. I lost Sarah. Turn Instagram on. I'm like, where'd she go? Hold on.
All three dots to
Hi.
see.
I'm like, I know.
I was like, it went.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I
Uh-oh.
wanted to be able to see the comments, so that's why.
Okay. All right. You can hear me. I can hear you. Okay, we're
Yeah,
on. All right, let me turn Instagram on.
my laptop is acting up. I'm probably gonna have to take it to Best Buy after this.
Best Buy.
Yeah, get the little geek squad to look at it to see why it's not turning on, because I can see the power cord is working, but anyway,
Okay,
you
hold
know.
on. I got to turn Instagram. I'm trying to make sure Instagram and TikTok are on real quick. Hi
Okay,
guys.
yeah.
If you're not, I don't know if anybody's watching us yet, but why does this take so long? Oh my god. All right. Use my interest. But anyway, okay, guys, so I have Lindsey Clancy down there. This is, I know, not watching, but anybody's watching the replay crew. Maybe comes in soon. I know 2 people are watching, I just don't know where. Okay, we're good. We're live. Okay. Hopefully, I wouldn't share this on X, but it'll be on X. So, all right, guys, I'm Krista Marie. This is Reality of Krista Marie. We usually talk, and this is my friend Sarah. She hasn't been with me in a couple of years, but Sarah, she's on Instagram. I don't know if she wants anybody to follow her, but if she does, she will put it in the chat before we go. We are here not to talk about Bravo. We are here to talk about, and I guess you can call it true crime, but the Lindsey Clancy case that has kind of torn America. I don't know. Like, I'm going to start crying thinking about it. Hi, Kath. Like, I'm going to start crying thinking about it because I just, I have a couple clips from the trial that I want everybody to keep an open mind because, like, I don't know if I don't know who failed who here, but it seems to me in the end, like when I heard this woman's notes, what she was keeping, that what she was going through with postpartum psychosis, she was getting sicker and she wasn't telling anybody. She wasn't really coming forward. She was telling people, and it's crazy because I hear different testimonies. You hear from her doctors, and like, she went to 5 different doctors in 5 months. Sarah, if I'm forgetting anything, or if I'm like,
Mhm.
it just, she went to a couple different doctors. She was like, and you find out they're telehealth, which I wasn't even aware of. I forgot it was COVID back then. So what happened was she was exhibiting signs of postpartum depression. I don't know. I mean, she just got done breastfeeding, and she started to feel like she was depressed and anxious. So she went through like a telehealth thing, and the first thing they described her was Zoloft. That didn't work. She didn't like it, and long story short, she goes through 5 different doctors, therapists. She tries inpatient. She gets turned away, and by sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
January 23rd, she took the kids. She took the life of her kids, her 3 kids, and then tried to kill herself. And she was unsuccessful in killing herself, but she's paralyzed, and she's on trial for it. But it's apparent to me that she was suffering from psychosis. And there's people that don't understand that, and they think that, she killed her kids. She killed her kids. She did. They were under 4 years old, and her husband found her, and they put her on. She's on trial. She's in a wheelchair. And at first she looked motionless, and I'm thinking, like, she hasn't even, like, she's probably been drugged up this entire time. But this woman, let me tell you, she was a nurse. She was a labor and delivery nurse. She had no signs of aggression. If anything, she was trying to be a better mom. She she's never she never went through any psychotic episodes. She had mental health. She had one little episode, a little bit of like depression after that first 2 kids, and then something happened after the third where for 12 weeks she was fine, and then something happened where she started to get anxious, and I think it was breastfeeding. In my opinion, it would be her hormones. She's still 6 months postpartum, and and if you listen, I'm going to play a couple testimonies, but from the cops and the doctors, and then I'm going to play her notes the last couple days before she did this, and it's so heartbreaking. And then you have the state, the Commonwealth, who put on a fucking case In my opinion, we know the deaths are not in dispute. The murders are not in dispute. She said she did this. She was hearing auditory commands, like she was having hallucinations, and and it was in the 2 days leading up to when this happened, and she sent her husband out, which is something that they did all the time. This was not out of the ordinary. The state wants to make it sound like she was being selfish. She didn't want her kids anymore. She didn't want her life anymore. And all she wanted to do was get better. And she wasn't. And I think, in my opinion, her husband, not on purpose, but wasn't accepting it. He would not accept the diagnosis. I don't think she told him everything. But it's clear to me now. And the defense hasn't even gone yet and put a case up yet. The state did it for them because, in their opinion, their evidence shows that she was being selfish and she was trying to get away from her life, and she set this all up. Oh, this is all fake. It was a fake suicide attempt. She took pills. She overdosed. She slit her wrist. She slit her neck, and then she jumped out a fucking window, and and her spine was fucking severed. So I don't think she tried to fake suicide, in my opinion. But Sarah, did you want to say anything? Let me say anything. I'm gonna.
No, I think, yeah, it's in Massachusetts is where the trial is. And yeah, like she said, the Commonwealth. And I think it's just really, it's a really big lesson to all of us for a couple things that can come from these kids' deaths is, learning to ask more questions, learning to advocate for ourselves, learning to check in on people that say that they, you know, need some help, but, they don't necessarily tell us how. So I think it's just a lot of things that we can learn,
Yeah.
from this and make their deaths, mean something and matter in a way that, I mean,
Yes.
these poor kids are never going to grow up and, this she's got to live with this forever, no matter what kind of verdict is given. So, I think that it's important to talk about what we can do differently and make sure that we, you know, also too, just to give people a chance to talk about
Yeah.
this case and the thoughts and things that they're feeling with it.
And that's the thing. I'm on every social media platform. There's discussions. Look, everybody is talking about it, and everybody wants to talk about it. And I want everybody to talk about it. I'm going to play a couple of clips if you don't know anything about it, but I need more insight. I want to know because you know I'm not being biased. In my opinion, I don't know. I don't think I'm being biased. I believe we're a mock jury, and like Sarah said, I the mental health. I don't know where we went wrong here. I don't know. I don't know if it was the doctors not checking in on each other. I don't know if it was because she wasn't saying everything that she was feeling or going through. She was scared. I don't know if is she really actually crazy? Is she a criminal? Did she do this? Did she aggression? To me, I don't think so. Like I don't know. I do think that she was on a lot of meds. And I'll say the thing is, she was getting prescribed a lot of different medications, but I don't believe she was taking them all. The way they make it sound is she was taking them all, but I don't believe in the end. Maybe she was like on Seroquel, like Remeron. I believe by that time she was having
Yeah.
a reverse reaction. Is that what it was? Adverse reaction.
Adverse reaction, yeah, or different side effects. And I know from medications I've taken for different things, like because they would say it needs to get up to a therapeutic level, but also
Yeah.
too, if you are starting to have adverse reactions, sometimes that will show up right away. And
True.
so if for her she was feeling sick or, that was making her more anxious or different things like that. Also too, it's felt like that she and her husband were both really concerned about taking medication, and some
Very.
people, in general are very anxious about
Yes.
medicine. And so, it
She was.
between side effects, already being miserable, and then
Yeah.
having a lot of concerns about, being on medication
Yes.
at first while nursing, and then just in general,
Yeah.
I think on some medications she didn't do well. Others, maybe she should have stuck it out longer, but it's hard to know with, you know,
Right.
in hindsight, you
That's
you
what it
think,
is.
well, maybe
It's
you
not.
should have.
And that's the thing. Like, we shouldn't be literally having to pull people out of the river, right? Like, we got to stop them from getting into the river. You know what I mean? Like, we're all there to pull it. We're all here to now. And now, what can we do to help? What can we do now? Well, let's just make sure it doesn't happen, and like, or maybe figure out like if this has to be a lesson for all these doctors to figure out, is it who's, I mean, I don't want to say it's her fault either, because I don't know how much, if she was reaching out, how much more could she have done? Like, I know that she called that doctor 5 or 6 times that day, but they wouldn't admit her. But I think I don't know. To me,
Do
somebody
you want
who's,
to play the clips and
yeah,
then,
yeah,
and that way anybody that hasn't seen the trial, at least that will give them a little bit of, but
yeah.
yeah,
Give me
go
one.
ahead and comment if you've been watching the trial, or if you've seen anything
I gotta
about,
go get my charger. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
okay, or if you've seen anything about the case, and if so, what your thoughts on it are. Because I'd be curious to hear, who has seen, let me see, we got to get the comments to show.
Oh, I have them up there. Do I have them up there? All right.
Yeah.
That worked. Oh my God, please work.
There we go.
My charger. Why are you not working? Okay. I don't know why it's not. Charger's not working. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Let me make sure my laptop's not going to die. I think it's charging. Better be anyway. I don't have any other way to charge it. All right. I'm just going to make sure I keep an eye on it. Okay. All right. So I have a couple clips. I want to try to get to the first ones I can get to, because that'll kind of get us in kind of order. Okay, so this is one of her doctors in the very beginning. Or you know what? Let me to somewhere and explain the case real quick. Like that, like one nurse Gelada, I think she was somebody who like was. Okay, here's opening statements. All right. I don't think they can get me for this. But I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I don't know if it's Bravo that does it or YouTube that gets you when you don't, when it's not your stuff. But hold on. So this is opening statements. This should kind of get you. We're gonna start. It's not like a minute or too long. Commonwealth.
Today opening.
Oops. Hold on.
Statements begin in the Lindsey Clancy murder trial.
She's a Duxbury mother accused of killing her children. NBC 10's Minaj is live outside Plymouth Superior Court. Minaj, this is the trial that's expected to start with some emotional testimony.
Judge made on Friday.
Yeah, make no mistake about it, this will be an emotional trial. But first up, testimony from Patrick Clancy, the man who was married to Lindsey at the time, the man who found their 3 kids dead. Make no mistake about it, that will be hard testimony to stomach. In fact, we, the public, will not even be able to hear the 911 call that he made to police after finding Lindsey on the ground that tragic day 3.5 years ago. She threw herself from a second-story window at their home after strangling their 3 children. He was not there because Lindsey sent him out to get food. Lindsey and her lawyers say she was over-medicated at the time, dealing with postpartum psychosis. Prosecutors believe she knew what she was doing and that she planned to kill. After openings, we expect that Patrick Clancy will be the first person to be on the stand, and that's something that our chief legal analyst, Michael Coyne, says will allow the prosecution to set the stage.
The horror of that call, the horror in Patrick Clancy's voice as he realized coming home with dinner what had taken place in his absence. And that, I believe, is going to be chilling.
Opening statements will begin at 9 this morning. For right now, we're live here.
All right, it's this one. I have a bum. So, all right. So this one I'm going to play. I'm going to literally give you guys a warning. It's the officers. Oh, where'd Sarah go? What the hell? Oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, where'd all my stuff go? Where'd everybody go? I lost Sarah and I lost everything. I don't know what just happened. Do you guys still see me? Okay, there she is. Hold on. Okay. Let me, hold on. All right. I hear her. She came back. Where is this? All right. Okay, hold on. All right. All right, she's back. I was like, what happened?
Sorry.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a warning. This is the officer. So this starts when he shows up on the scene. And give a trigger warning. This is where it got me. This is where I was starting to get upset, but it'll set the scene for you guys. I'm not gonna play all 20 minutes of it.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
All right. So I'm going to ask, keep your voice up so the jury can hear you.
Yes.
And with that, Attorney Sprague.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Stephen Hall, StephenHall,
And your date of birth?
3/26/1983.
Where do you work?
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a Duxbury Police? Showing you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 38. Is this the back of the house?
It is.
And showing you what's been marked as Exhibit
All right. This one
37. Do you see the area where the defendant was when you entered the backyard?
Yes.
Mind standing up with court permission and just pointing that out to the jurors?
It's in this area.
And if the record could reflect, he's pointing near the window well to the far right side of the back of the house.
Record may reflect that.
When you saw her in that location, do you remember where her head was?
Her head was towards the house.
And where were her feet?
Pointing out away from the house.
She jumped from the window, guys.
Are you trained in first aid as part of your job?
Yes.
And do you carry equipment with you in case you have to provide first aid to someone?
Yes.
When you saw the defendant on the ground,
this is
did you go to her and observe any injuries?
It's horrible.
She had cuts to both wrists and to the left side of her neck.
The cuts to her wrists, were those actively bleeding when you saw them?
No, they were not.
Why wouldn't they be bleeding? That makes no sense to me.
When you saw the cuts to her neck?
Probably because it was so cold.
Okay, is that like what they're saying? It was like that could be the why, because it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, because she was like so cold. Like whenever they took her in, I think she was like 83 degrees or something like that. And then they put that blanket, the bear hugger, to warm her up and everything. That could be one of because she bled a lot in the room where she originally cut herself.
I saw that in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think because she was so cold, it had helped stop the blood.
The state's like mad about it. You know what I mean? They seem like they say she's faking it. What are you gonna say before I play this?
Oh, I was gonna say, some of the arguments that the state is making is that she faked, hurting herself, and they've called the cuts superficial, but they're not superficial.
No.
And to me, if you're gonna fake it, I could see like faking one part of it, but you don't take pills,
right?
Your wrist and neck, and then jump out of the window. Yeah, and the defense has said that they're gonna. Well, I don't know. They didn't say they're gonna prove it, but they have alluded some things that she jumped more like head first or something like that. Which is like versus like jumping from her feet or Spider-Manning down the side of the house. So,
I mean, like in my opinion, by that time she was probably passing out. So she probably could have fell out that damn window.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, she coded twice. She actually succeeded in this. She coded twice that night. So she did succeed in taking her own life. So the defense is saying that she faked it. She made this all up. So now these officers, some of them, when the defense is talking to them, they're cocky. You'll see, I'll play the text messages for you. They're cocky. They're like, and it's so horrible. It's like, this is like, they don't want to make a joke out of it. But like, you're actually making this like unnecessary harder for the defense, like saying like, oh, yes, this is not gonna go start, blah, blah, blah. It's like, just say yes, motherfucker. Just say yes. Yes or no. Kevin, her defense attorney, guys, he's 80 years old. I think 80 or 85. He's amazing. I think it was 75. He drives a Harley. His name's Kevin Reddington. Where do you see this guy? He's a one-man show, which is amazing to me, because he's got all I saw his defense, his exhibits things. He's got everything written out. He actually he goes, "Oh, you can't read it? Well, here you go." And he pulls out this big this exhibit, and it's like the text messages right there in your face. He's like, that's okay. The jury's going to see it. So this is
provide any medical care to those cuts or use any of the equipment you had to tend to those cuts?
Not at that time.
Was she conscious?
Semi-conscious, in and out of consciousness.
And what was she doing that gave you that indication?
She would wake up and move around and then kind of just go still again.
And when you say she would move around, what parts of her body was she moving?
Just her head, really.
Yeah,
Was she able to speak to you?
She wasn't, no.
Was she making any sounds?
She was just, like, it sounded like she was in pain.
Yeah.
So something like moaning or something like that?
Yes.
While you and Officer Josephine are there, do other first responders, such as firefighters, start to arrive?
Yes, they started to arrive, and I went to the to gate to direct them where to go.
And how did you know they had arrived?
You could hear the sirens.
So you heard the sirens and went to the gate to tell them to come to that side?
Correct.
Like, to me, all this unnecessary, oh, you went to the gate, and then you took 5 steps, then you took 2 more steps. Like, just fucking get to the point. Like, this, I don't know why they do this. It makes me nuts. I don't know.
While you were doing this, did Patrick Clancy stay with you?
At one point, he went inside to say he was going to check on his
when he comes home, he doesn't know that the kids are inside unalived. So
children.
Yeah.
And did you see what entrance he used to go into the house?
Yeah.
So they were home together. The husband worked from home, like in the basement or something.
And he started doing that for her because she was having a really, really horrible time trying to.
Yeah, and so he went to the store to pick up a medicine for the daughter and dinner from they called in like a order for him to just go pick up. So he wasn't supposed to be gone very long either.
He was going it's up until this point. She was making. I'm going to play in the end. I'm going to play her text messages, back and forth, completely normal. I didn't make dinner. Can you go get dinner? We're going to have this. I'll have this. Okay. She built a snowman that day with the kids. She was sending pictures into the house. Sending the texts back and forth. Her mom, how you feeling, mommy? I'm not feeling well. And in the meantime, she's also taking notes. In her notes, she's doing like a journal, and she's tortured. She's so tortured. It's so fucking sad. And she didn't. Yeah. And then up to this point where we're with the officers, he leaves to go get dinner and stuff, and she goes into the house. She takes the kids in the basement. She strangles all 3 or 2 of them, I think, and then she unfortunately had to go get the other one. Her oldest was in the bathroom. He lived for like 2 or 3 days, so it seems like he ran. But she said she started to hear these all of a sudden as soon as he leaves, and this is what bothers me. This is the only part that bothers me.
Was it the oldest, or I thought the daughter was the oldest?
Oh, Dawson's not. I don't know. I thought the boy,
Dawson, but I thought that was it Dawson or Callan that lived?
I forget. Maybe it was like the oldest one, I think. Or no, maybe not.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but one of her sons was a girl and 2 boys, I think, right?
Yeah.
They were all under the age of like 4, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The baby was only 8 months. But
yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's the only part that bothers me is that like the auditory voices. I don't know if they were happening before he left, and that was a command to make him go. And then she was in like this. She went to psychosis, and she went inside. And this woman has never shown aggression at all. It was like her worst fear manifested into the psychosis. Like her mind tricked her into what her worst fear was, and it like told her to do these things. And I think it told her to kill herself. She said it told her to kill her.
Are you there, Krista?
Sorry.
Hi, there you are.
I was like, please don't go anywhere. Fuck. All right, now we're good. Sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Hold on. Sorry. Oops.
Hi, there you are.
Oops. Okay. All right, we're all good. Let me get back to the thing. Sorry. I'm like, don't go anywhere. So yeah, up until this point, so Patrick, he goes out and gets the food, and he's on camera, and they see him. He comes home, and he sees. He doesn't see anything. He hears nothing. He goes in the house. It's quiet. He ends up going up to his bedroom. His door was locked. He gets in somehow. He sees blood on the floor and an open window. He runs downstairs and he finds her in the backyard. I think it's backyard, and she's on the ground. She says nothing. I don't know if he said, "What did you do to yourself?" Or whatever. He calls 911. So he's like freaking out because of her. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go." So they get there. The cops get there, and he goes. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go find my kids." So this is where the officers. This is where we find the. Let me share it again. Sorry. Oops. I'm like, something's not letting us do this today, but we're not giving up. We're gonna keep trucking. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get to this. Trigger warning for anybody. This is a little rough.
And do you remember his demeanor as he was saying that?
He seemed very upset.
What did you do in response to that?
Sorry. Back a little bit.
Once you got to the bottom of the stairs, is it accurate that you
We could hear he was talking, but there was screaming was done. Myself and Officer Joseph.
From?
Just inside the house.
And the screaming, was it words or just sound?
It was just a sound.
It was Patrick.
When you heard that screaming, what did you do?
Myself and Officer Josephine ran towards the slider and entered into the house.
And when you entered into the house, do you remember what room you entered into?
Into a kitchen.
And when you entered into the kitchen, could you still hear that screaming?
No. We could hear he was talking, but there was screaming was done.
When you said he was talking, who was talking?
Patrick Clancy.
So you could hear Patrick Clancy talking at that time?
Yes.
And could you tell where he was?
Yes, he was in the basement.
And did you head to the basement stairs?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 41. Are these the stairs that you went to?
Yes.
Like, these questions seem so unnecessary. Did you went into the house, right? Okay. Yeah, it took 10 steps this way, 5 steps this way.
Did you go to the bottom of the stairs?
I did.
No,
Once you got to the bottom of the stairs, is it accurate that you either have to go right or left?
Correct.
Which direction did you go?
We heard Patrick Clancy talking from the right, so we went in that direction.
Could you hear what he was saying?
God. Do you mind if I?
You don't recall?
Yes.
He couldn't say it.
Do you recall him saying, "I can't wake them up, I can't get them up"?
Yes.
And do you remember his demeanor as he was saying that?
He seemed very upset.
What did you do in response to that?
He came from a back room, so we ran into that back room.
Just going back to when you came down the stairs and turned to the right, do you recall what type of room that was when you went to the right?
It looks like a workout room, a workout area.
I'm going to show you a few pictures here. If you could just look at them and tell me if you recognize what they depict.
We have a nickname for these prosecutors. One of them always wears a bow in her head, so we call her Bo Peep. The conspiracy is that she does it because the daughter, Cora, she always wore bows in her head, which I think is a little, I don't know. It depends. Like, you can look at this case either way. Like, if you look at it through their eyes, she's evil, and they're going to make her into a monster. They're going to prove she's a monster, and, you know, it's all about the kids. And really, it's about her state of mind and what happened that day. But we'll get to all that.
Yes.
And do you recognize these to be photographs of that workout room that you entered into when you went to the right?
Yes.
We can have these marked as the next few exhibits.
All right, those may be admitted.
4 exhibits.
He forgot to hang up 911, so 911 actually heard him screaming, which is awful. But they didn't play it for all of us. I heard it's the worst thing they've ever heard. Which I can.
Showing you exhibit 89. Is that the view when you first come down the stairs and turn to the right?
Yes.
And then showing you exhibit 90. Are those exercise bands there tied to the closet door?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Just a close-up of that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, 92. What are we seeing in this photograph, sir?
That was the back room that he seemed to be coming from.
That Patrick was coming from?
Yes.
You also looked at 2 photographs from that room. Are those fair and accurate depictions of how the room looked that day?
Yes.
We could have these markers the next 2 exhibits, please.
They may be admitted.
Oh. I'm confused about the workout band. They were tied to the door? Like,
yeah.
Were they the ones?
I'm not real sure how she strangled him with the exercise bands is what the prosecution said. And there's certain things that the prosecution has alluded to, like the one kid ran or like he struggled, but they haven't, to me, they didn't necessarily prove that.
Right.
You can assume it, but for certain, given his age. And then, another thing that they kind of tried to me to imply was that he was looking at their faces. And which is like, you can't imagine, but also if somebody is insane, like psychotic, and they think that they're doing this for a certain reason, like for a good reason,
she's saying go to God, right?
Yeah, that you could think like, well, I mean, she's, she might think it's hard, but she might be doing it anyway. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I think the prosecution, the same with her wearing the bow, playing up certain sympathy and certain parts of it that are undoubtedly horrific, but it doesn't answer the question of was she psychotic at the time?
And it's to me, you're adding salt to wounds, and there's other family members there that you don't need to show that all. You don't have to go through the autopsies twice. Not twice, but like could have done that. She does it at the beginning, and then she does it in the very end, where she thought it was going to land as something good, where it just kind of backfires, because all it does is upset Lindsey, and that the jurors. And to me, if you're a human, you're going to feel. And you can look at it the way she can say, oh, she says she's faking it and she's doing this, she's playing it up. But I don't think so. Like, that to me is a woman that just realized what she has done. I don't think that I think her drugged up this entire time, but I think that's the first time she showed emotion. But I mean,
she cried really hard during the 911 call.
Yeah. Oh, did she? I forgot. Yeah, because I forgot.
Yeah, it was muted so the people watching couldn't hear it, but the people in the court could hear the 911 call. And Patrick Clancy left before they played it, and but you could see her shoulders shaking, and like some of the commentary was, that it was really devastating for her to hear. And so there's not a question of does she regret it or anything like that, because she does.
Obviously,
and it's not a question. Yeah, it's not a question of is she denying it, because she doesn't. The question comes down to was she mentally aware was she aware that her actions were criminal, and could she conform herself as part of the instructions as well. And it's not like if they say that she couldn't conform herself or that she didn't realize that it was criminal, it's not like she's going to be going home. She's still going to be in a mental hospital.
There is one option. We were going through it the other day. There is one. They have to prove 2 things, I think. Beyond a reasonable doubt. In this case is all fucking doubt. Because it comes down to she had all the symptoms, everything else. So the only logical conclusion is this is actually what postpartum psychosis looks like. If this isn't it, then what the fuck is? What if this is not it? If a woman that can be everything that she did up until the very fucking minute it happened, almost to the fucking hour, she's texting normally until he leaves. She's on the phone with him one time during this thing. This woman was never even aggressive to not even her animals. There's no sign of if you have if someone's diagnosis called postpartum psychosis, this is what the fuck it is. Because this woman never fucking showed. She did something that this is only like Andrea Late Yates, but she had mental issues. She drowned her 4 kids 25 years ago. Rusty Yates just did an interview. Her husband stood by her. She was mentally ill. I told you. So she had, she said, go to God. She had signs before. this kind of, I believe Lindsey was already having these auditory hallucinations. I know she said it in her diary or her notes. She's having hallucinations, and I don't believe they took her that seriously, because I think they thought, because she's a nurse, because she kind of was dictating her medications. I don't know. She was so worried about it. I feel like they maybe should have had her inpatient at the very end. I don't think that place should have, the woman in children's place should have turned her away because she was too medicated. At that point, they should have known that a woman that's going to turn herself, wants to come here and has a referral to be here, needed, by looking at her, she should have stayed there. No matter what, she should have been admitted that day. Because I think that turn away was her last, like, nobody's going to help me. I have to end my life. Like, it just seemed like she didn't want to live. And she was saying, I don't want to live. Like, I'm going to play the diary. And this is what Friday made me realize. I had no doubts after that, because now I know she's not, this wasn't something that I never really thought she did it purposely anyway. Criminally anyway. I feel like if this is psychosis, and they say postpartum, because postpartum, all that means, it doesn't mean anything, but it means after a year after the baby. And they add that on there sometimes because most of the things that happen after that, or depression or anxiety, comes from your hormones or something postpartum. So people get confused. They're like, oh, she had postpartum, but that's not a thing. Postpartum is just a length of time. But they have the diagnosis after that. So they have anxiety, have depression. But for some reason, postpartum psychosis is not in what is it called?
DSM.
The DSM. And at this point, I think we have enough cases, because there was just one that was a lady that was something else. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Something religious, had drowned her kids as well, and said God told her to do it. Stood there, admitted to it, and then came out of the psychosis. And then it happens another time too. But I mean, it's happening a little bit more and more. And it's not the women like Pamela Smart that blame on somebody else. That happens too. There's been a couple of cases like that. That's not it. That's just fucking selfishness. Blaming on another person. And there's a couple of people that have done this. This, to me, I've never seen this. This is something this is the most horrific thing that could happen for all of us to have to see and watch in real time, and watch her break down and hear her words and see what the officers went through. But that's the only thing, that's what's making people want to talk about it, because it's making us really wonder, this is the mental health care thing. Like, maybe just because it's postpartum, I don't know if...
So I think it shines a light on a situation that a lot of folks deal with. And there's a couple of things when folks are having trouble. First of all, a lot of times it's hard for them to say and to voice it. Maybe they don't even realize, and it could be in mental health. It could be just, thoughts of self-harm, thoughts of worthlessness, what have you. And they, you maybe don't realize that you're not thinking clearly. But other times it's like when somebody then is brave enough to ask for helps, are you getting believed? Are you getting the proper care? I know I've had therapists that haven't been great, and I have a therapist that's great now. So, but,
in your experience, do you think things are changing or no? Watching this, do you think things have changed? Because I don't feel like they have.
So I don't think that they've changed enough. And I think that we've moved from a place where it wasn't talked about to now it's discussed a lot more. So it has more visibility, but I don't think that our healthcare is set up. So here's something. So something that Krista mentioned, she went to a couple different doctors trying to get help. And a lot of times they just threw medicine at her. But she did go to one patient. She admitted herself and was inpatient for a while.
It was December 21st. A mother of 3 that turns herself in 4 days before Christmas is desperate. A mother wouldn't go before Christmas, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, agreed. She voluntarily committed herself. And then it didn't seem like they did much at that, because it was around New Year. Maybe it was right after 21st. Christmas.
No, December 21st.
I thought it was New Year's Day. I thought it was New Year's Day.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It was. I think she went there December 21st, and then she went back. Right, she went twice. She went.
So it was two different facilities.
Yeah.
One,
one was right before Christmas, and then she went to the one you said. So the second one, she ended up staying there, right? And then she went on New Year's Day, and then it was 2 or 3 days before she actually talked to anybody.
Yeah, it sounded it sounded like that they had doctors that like popped in and were like, "Hey, how you doing?" But it was a skeleton crew because of the holidays, and nobody really did anything.
Yeah.
And she went back home for it was going to be her daughter's birthday. So she went back home, and they were like, "Yeah, no, we're fine with you leaving." And then she tried to go to a different place because she started seeing a different doctor, and was like, but I also think she didn't feel like she was being taken seriously, because a lot of the places said like, yeah, well, she was depressed and had, she had a lot of insomnia and had a lot of anxiety. So we were giving her this to help her sleep, this to help with her anxiety. And she said she had thoughts of, suicidal ideation and, that kind of thing.
Guess what I just found out? So they say that if they'll ask you, so every single one asked her if she had suicidal ideation. Every single time she said yes. And then because she didn't have a plan, that doesn't mean she needs help then. If you don't have a plan, then they mark you off and on to the next question, and they're off on.
Yeah.
So this woman for days, every other day, is seeing a doctor. She's telling them, but because she doesn't have a plan, that's it.
Yeah.
So guess what, guys? When she had a plan, she didn't fucking tell you. Because when people get a plan, they don't want to fucking they're not telling anybody. That's not included in the plan.
Well, she called the suicide hotline as well, a couple of times. And so with every time that she reached out, it seemed like to me the healthcare system failed her in that they didn't take her seriously. They didn't, she may not have volunteered like these were my thoughts, but they also didn't ask her enough questions to kind of pull it out. Like, what are your intrusive thoughts? And as a nurse and as a mom of 3 kids, I think there was also a fear of telling them, well, I'm thinking, because nobody wants to think that they could do that to, if you are with it enough to know what I'm thinking is messed up, you also would want to think, like, well, of course, I'm thinking this, but I wouldn't do it. Like, I have not mentally gone enough that I think that this is okay, because she obviously was asking for help. She was asking for medicine, and she was saying like, and I think, all of these different places that she reached out to, in some ways it was like, well, you don't have a plan, or you've got medication, or talk to somebody else. And it felt like she was just being, and she said, like, I don't feel like I'm being heard. And some of these medications can make the bipolar, can make you psychotic if you have bipolar. So there's certain things, just because you're depressed, you can't take some of these things if you have bipolar, versus if you just have some, and I don't mean to say just have anxiety like it's less, but these are different. They need different treatments. And not everybody's brain chemistry is going to be working the same. Not everybody's body chemistry. So just saying, well,
those labels have them on there. There's a reason those labels have this could happen, because it happened to people that did the trials on. So it can happen. There's a reason those labels, black labels, say psychotic episode or delusions, delirium. All of that is, it's basically adverse. Whatever you're trying to treat, it'll make it, it'll just give it to you, right?
Yeah. So the black box warnings of it can make you, even more suicidal, even though that may be one of your things, or it can make you psychotic. And in her case, I don't know that it's not mentioned in his testimony. I don't know if you want to go ahead and play later on, but they have talked about a little bit that she may have been like slightly manic after her second child, because she went and ran a marathon, like,
that's right,
like for something like 4 days after, like it was
11 days or something like that. She ran.
It was less than it was a very short amount of time, and it was a marathon. It wasn't just, and that I think that was, they made a big deal about her cleaning out her garage at one point. But to me, just because she isn't showing like risk-taking manic behavior, she was not sleeping, and she was doing all this stuff. So so like it was maybe kind of, I don't know how it was after her first kid, but after her second kid, that, there were some of these behaviors, but they wanted a big family. And after the third kid is when things were really rough. And, and I think the same with with Andrea Yates, who, you know, is like over, you know, like not like I knew her like an hour away, but like in the south part of Houston, I'm in the north part. I remember when that happened. And the thing was, a lot of people were like, yeah, she wasn't well after each kid, and they kept pushing, and they were, you know, religious and wanted to have a big family, and they just kept having more kids, and she was more and more broken after each kid mentally. And I think that's something that, from things that I've seen and heard, like it sounds like it kind of gets progressively worse. And if you don't realize that's what it is, like if they didn't realize that after the second kid and they had the third kid and they weren't even knowing to watch for it, I think it can, you know, it snowballs and gets worse. And that's what happened here, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry to play this. I found a bunch of their clips are shorter than 2 minutes, but it's like some of the doctors. It'll explain a little bit what we're talking about. Because it sounds like a lot of medication she was given, and I believe really at the end, like the worst ones were the Seroquel. You know, I don't know if they would say SSRIs are like the ones for depression they give you, right? So what Sarah was saying before, like, so bipolar 2, like what I have, when I would take an SSRI, I got so manic, which I get manic now. You guys see me now. I still get really manic. I would get very manic. And then I would, and I never was depressed a day in my life. I don't have depression. I have mania. So I didn't know how to explain that when I was younger. So so they assumed depression. I said depression, I guess. Right. So that's what I would say. And then not that that was their fault, but like, you know, it took about 5 years before, and me self-medicating with drugs that would calm me down. And like, if I did cocaine, it would calm me down. So like nobody knew I was doing it. So it was like I was self-medicating because I was on the wrong medication, I say, you know, but it took years for me. And then I was on lithium, which is a mood stabilizer for bipolar. And that went on for about 15 years until I stopped taking it a couple of years ago. Now I'm not on anything. I did my inner work, as they say. And I use my mania. I use it like a superpower now because I'm up at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning doing this. But all right, so this is his testimony, and then I'll play some of the. It's just because I'm looking. There's so much of it. Like I forgot about like the nat. So like the nanny explains how she's such a good mom, and like everybody stands by her. Nobody is saying that they don't think she does. Nobody in her family, not one person. I feel like just maybe Bo Peep and her little twin sister are the ones. That you know, and I hate to be mean about it. I'm trying to see it through their eyes, but their eyes are not. They're not reading the room. They're not understanding what we have. We're not. But this is different. It's not. I don't know what year they're living in, but the way they make it sound is not the way they make it look. They have the same evidence. It's all the same evidence. Just the way there's different perspectives of looking at it. You could take what she's looking at, and you can say, "Oh, she set it all up. Oh yeah, she set this all up. It was all fake. This is what the state wants us to believe." She knew when she was doing this. It's a fake illness. The woman she's gonna turn herself in before Christmas, a fake illness. You know what I mean? There's signs everywhere that she was sick. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Listen, Sarah, is there any doubt now that she was sick? Like, is that not reasonable doubt to fuck it out to wazoo? Like,
no. I think they've I think it's crazy because the prosecution even, you know, isn't denying that she was sick and had mental health issues. I think they are not doing a good job. I think they're coming from a place of there needs to be punishment, and in their eyes, punishment is prison.
Well, you give her a plea then, you know?
Yeah, and so they're trying, and you know, and it's kind of like I feel like they're a little bit like a hammer, you know, looking for a nail.
Yeah, every hammer. Yeah, if you're a hammer, everything's a nail.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of their stance.
We're screws. Hey, there's some screws over here. Doesn't fit in your hole, bitch. I'm trying to turn my knee. But listen, it's the same evidence. We look at the same evidence, right? But in their eyes, it's like she was sane because she was able to order the food and send them out and then kill the kids all methodically. And then our eyes, or people other eyes, it's like, no, that's what psychosis is. She was completely normal, but she was hearing voices. She never said anything, but she's writing it down, but she's not saying it, which is the sad part. But if now we know that, lady, so now you know she was going through it, why are you still charging her? Like, and you're proving all of your people that all your witnesses, I'm going to show you guys are going to think it's defense witnesses, and it's not. We're trying to prove that she wasn't sick. The state wants to prove she wasn't sick. And she not that. So every question you ask should be, did you think she was lying? Is she a liar? Nanny, are you lying to us? You know what I mean? It's like, and then it's like, no, she's a great mom. Patrick, nope, great mom, nope. And it's like, okay, and every doctor, yes, very sick, but getting worse. And it's like, okay, now we have all this evidence, lady. She really jumped out the window. The cuts were 3.5 inches deep into her fucking arm, or centimeter, sorry.
Yeah.
Slitting her fucking neck. Okay. Don't think she's fucking taking it.
Yeah.
So
the prosecution has kind of put up certain things that, to me, saying, for example, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to see it through their eyes, but it's just
yeah. Well, I think it's certain things that they're trying to say, like, no, she, this was the fake suicide attempt, or it wasn't, she wasn't truly trying. And when they do that, I feel like, for me, they lose me, because I'm like, no, I feel like it was a real suicide attempt. So to me, it almost is like I'm automatically disagreeing with them on certain things, when the real question is not was it real or not, but the question should be, could she conform herself? Did she know, those kinds of things? And when you have me busy thinking that you're already losing the plot, and have me thinking,
where's the criminality here? We're waiting for
that no, she really liked being a mom, and everybody has said she liked being a mom. Her journal entries say she's liked being a mom, and your opening statement says, she wanted a different life. She didn't want to be, that no, you're not. And then you put on these witnesses that say the opposite of what you've told me.
Yes.
And when you say, like, oh, it was a fake suicide attempt, and then you're, all the paramedics and everybody say, like, it was superficial, and then you show me the pictures, like, well, the medical version of superficial is not the normal you and I version of superficial. Like, that's not a Band-Aid. They have to suture, and put steri strips on those. Like, it was crazy.
She was tied to a board, guys. Okay? She was on a board. She severed her spine. Okay? She had spinal, so she coded twice. She died. She did die. Okay? Like, she died that night. It's not like, this isn't like she didn't want to die. She thought she was going with her kids. In my opinion, her psychosis of, okay, so this is just, I'm just going to say, I feel like something was going on with Patrick where she couldn't tell him everything. I believe that she felt that she couldn't tell him everything. I don't think that he was accepting what was going on. And I think maybe she was scared, obviously, to say anything about what she was really hearing and seeing. She said, but she wrote it down. And I feel like, because she was so worried about that, she was afraid of suicide, and something happened to her kids, and her psychosis tricked her and had auditory voices, and she went into psychosis, because there's no way you're going to make me believe that this woman could do this because she wanted a different life, that she wanted to kill, and she could just leave. Why would you kill the kids? Just, like, have the kids, Patrick. I'm sure they'd take them now. So, I mean, to me, like, and they seemed happy to me. So why was she trying to leave her life? She's writing down, lady, everything you're saying. And you told us her Google searches were going to prove everything. Her Google searches were going to prove everything. And you know what they fucking did? Cherry picked them. And the fucking defense was like, no. You had 85,000 fucking video pages. How about this? And guys, she is Googling everything that happened to her. She's what is the voices did? She knew she was losing it. She was like, and not new, but like, something was going on really, really bad, because her Google searches up to that day were fucking scary. Everything that she did, and the state wants us to look at that, like, but there's nothing about killing. I want to kill my kids or this or that. Nothing about a kid and stopping it. And she's got just everything. It's just so cute. And the jury, there's 15 or 18 of them. 6 of them, men and women, or I'm sorry, 6. The ones that are the jurors are 6 and 6, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, so there's 12 jurors. There's 18 total, because there's some alternates.
And 3 nurses. 3 nurses. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know for sure, like, how I don't because they don't show the jury or anything like that. But there's been some comments. Now, a lot of them are on the older side, like 40s, 50s.
Do you think they're feeling what we're feeling? Do you think they're looking at
her like so? I guess I came into it with So Krista, was mentioned that she has bipolar. I have had several bad bouts of depression, and so I come into it from that perspective, and I remember like trying to decide like how I was not going to be around anymore, and and not if you would have asked me, I didn't have a plan yet per se. I would look at different things, or like I would be driving and I'd be like, oh, that might be a good way. I remember washing dishes and looking at a knife and I'd be like, what about, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to be too tough with like tendons and bones, and I was like, I probably will just end up hurting myself but not actually doing, and so having those thoughts and feeling like I was just a waste and a worthless person.
Yeah.
And from the outside, I had purchased my own home. I had a good job, those kinds of things. But it wasn't until somebody that wasn't, and even like close friends and family didn't really say anything or intervene. And somebody else that had struggled with depression said, I think you might be thinking things that other people don't think, or things that aren't really normal. And I knew what she meant. I was like, oh, and I don't know that at that point it had ever occurred to me that thinking that I shouldn't be around anymore was better for everyone was not something that was not normal. You know what I mean?
Were you voicing it to them?
I don't know. Like, I think I said things and alluded to things. I don't think I ever, I think I even said something one time, and I think, sometimes people write you off as maybe being dramatic or maybe not serious or something like that. But, and I knew, and like, I definitely wasn't happy, but I hadn't said like, I hadn't said like, oh, I'm suicidal or anything like that. But, and I don't even think, I think if you knew me, you knew I wasn't happy, and you knew I was probably depressed and sad and that kind of thing. But it was a coworker, and she, had her own issues, and she was the one that said like, hey, maybe, you're thinking, and she's like, if you, need to talk to a psychiatrist or something like that, I can, give you the information for mine. And so I really, if she hadn't said that, I don't know that I would be around today.
Do you feel you really feel like that? Like, so when you were getting depressed, like, was it a situational depression, or was it just something you didn't know where it came from, or like you just kind of or like,
so mine, I would say like, it's probably, so I've had some situational depression too later in life, but so I would say, so when I turned 12, I started having petit mal seizures, and like we thought it was probably hormone related with like my body changing. And we mentioned it to the doctors, and they were like, nah. And this was like in the 90s, and a bunch of old white guys were like, nah, it's, we don't know why people have, seizures. Sometimes it's like if you maybe have like a mass in there, or you've had a brain injury, but other times we don't know. And so now, like later in life, they were like, yeah, we do think they're hormone related, things. But the more we got my seizures under control, the more my depression became evident. And so it's hard to know, because I'm not on any seizure medication now, but I've also kind of gone through the change and then like tried going off medication and was fine. But
you don't have them anymore?
Yeah, I don't have them anymore, but I'm not sure. So the answer is I'm not sure what came first, the chicken or the egg, I may have had depression anyway, and that was just as I got older. But I did, like, through college, I started to become more and more depressed, and then by the time I was 30, I was definitely very depressed, and that was
medication. Were you taking medication at that point?
I was on a Effexor, and that had come about. I went to my neurologist and started crying when I was telling him something. He was like, "Here, take this." And we didn't do anything. He was like, "Oh, you're crying. Like, oh, if you're emotional here, you need this."
Oh,
and
that's
so
what they did with her. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I understand where, feeling like you're dismissed, or, or just like, or not even really,
Did you want to
So for
find out?
me, I wasn't even voicing it like she was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
so,
wanna
and I
talk to
do think at some point I had actually made a plan, but
Oh.
I knew it once I bought the gun, like it would be a short amount of time. So I had kind of delayed on doing that. And I had like a time frame in mind as well, so I wouldn't disturb like my nephews, like it would be during the summer, so it wouldn't be like, if interrupting any school stuff or anything like that. And so, because part of it was like, well, I don't want to inconvenience anybody. And because I didn't feel like I was worth anything already. So, it was kind of like trying to figure out how to juggle things. And I remember, like, I asked certain questions, but nobody really thought about, like, well, why are you asking? Because I was like, well, would I be a tissue? My sister is diabetic. Well, do you think I would be a match for Elizabeth if she ever needed a kidney or anything like that? Like different things like that, where I would be like, okay, well, what should I do for this or that? Should I wait and see? Like, and they were like, oh no, her kidneys issues are much better, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, good. Like, different, and it
Were you
wasn't.
doing that on purpose or trying to get their attention?
Probably.
You don't know. Yeah, you kind of just like subconsciously were like trying to.
I think I was probably trying to hint, like, maybe somebody saying like, well, why, or something like that. But also too, I was like, well, if I do that and then she needs a kidney, in the next year, 6 months or whatever, like I'll feel like a terrible, I'll be like, oh, that was sad. But,
your family, you didn't think your family would be devastated, or no? You just thought like,
no, I mean, because I thought everybody would be better off. Like that's the problem with your thinking, is that it's not. And so, that's where, and I would say different people have different, experiences probably in different ways of dealing with it and showing it. But I felt like, for me, it was, I shouldn't be a problem for anybody. And, really, and and then when you're unhappy, you're like, thinking as soon as I can get out of this situation, it'll be so much better. And so you're like, well, and of course they're not going to miss me, or, or they'll miss me for a few months and then they'll forget about it or whatever. And so,
you trick yourself.
that.
It's like you trick yourself into believing that nobody's gonna like really give a shit, or like, and that certain situations are all your fault, or that's how I used to feel, and I couldn't really. I couldn't see past that. Like I couldn't see, like I'd see a tunnel with an end and I couldn't see anywhere else, right? Like that's what it felt like. There was no end. There was no end of it. Like, I don't know. Everything was the end of everything to me. It was like everything that would happen, like any kind of fight I would get with my husband or something, like it was the end of the world. That was it. And then I couldn't see past that. Nobody would give a shit if I just took my life. And I just wanted to get out of that pain, right? Like, to me, like, did your depression feel physical too? Physically? Yeah. And that was the worst part. Like, you like, I don't get depressed, but like the mania, when I would come down the mania, I would feel like I always had a psychosis. Like, did you ever experience mania?
No.
Oh God. It's wild. It's like being on drugs. Like, if you guys ever notice, sometimes I am, and I'll talk for like an hour straight, but that's like, and then I realize I'm doing it, but I don't stop. And it's like, if I'm not here, I'd be like, I clean the whole house, and and it happens literally almost every morning. Like, I wake up like that. And then sometimes when after in the afternoon, like after I'll get ready here, so I'll do my live or whatever, I'll barely remember the last couple of hours sometimes. Because I'll be on like this high. It's weird. And you guys, I know people can notice it. Like, that's why I'm always like touching my hair and stuff. But like, I don't want to be medicated anymore. I wanted to stop being medicated because I felt like with the lithium, I was still having episodes where like I was losing, like I would lose touch with reality almost. I would feel like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the bipolar 2 or what, but like I feel it has to be. But like, I would start to feel like now they say borderline personality disorder. I don't know if you did you read anything about it. Like, that's just like bipolar 2 on steroids, basically. So I would feel like I would get these episodes of like, I don't know, like a stupid little argument. I would lose my mind, and I would think that he was leaving me. He didn't want to be married to me anymore. And like, And I would almost get to the point, and that's where I feel like for suicide, it's not a plan, but when you get to that point, there's some people that get to so upset they get to a point where they do it. It's not a plan, but like if you're reaching out for help, that's your plan. That's
Well, and
the point, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and her plan, it seems like, was right that moment, was like, because she said, that, so there was something that it hasn't come out in the trial, I don't think yet, but like that, I think it's come out in other stuff, that when he left, she said that she heard a voice telling her, like, you have to do this now.
It's your
And
last
so,
chance.
I mean, she used stuff that she had in her house right then.
Right.
And,
She didn't have to have a plan.
Yeah, it was
just
something
go
that she
do
was
it.
able to do in that moment. Yeah.
True. And I know I forgot to get to what I was going to say. The end of with Massachusetts. You know how they keep saying that she didn't have a plan? That's actually the opposite, because they're mandated reporters and she has kids. They were legally obligated to tell somebody that her kids were in danger, and that I just found this out. So
Yeah.
I think Kevin's going to bring that up. I think that's part of his defense, but I didn't think of that part. So, I mean, that if that's true, and that they should have, then that's where they failed her too, because if she's having these voices and thoughts of hurting her kids need to be out of there, because at one point she did tell her husband she had thoughts of hurting the kids. So,
she did. Yeah, she told him that at one point too, and I don't know that she ever voiced that to some of the medical providers. But I think that would be a really scary thing to even say out loud to your husband, much less to a doctor. And if they haven't built that rapport, and I think part of what I was saying is, like, when somebody is coming to you depressed, anxious, they're not sleeping, they're manic, whatever, you also have to remember, even if they are a nurse, like she was a labor and delivery nurse, she's not going to always necessarily know all these medications, or she's not going to be the same as a clinician coming to you with, reporting somebody else. Her thinking is going to be messed up.
She shouldn't even be advocating for herself, in my opinion, at the end, because she's hallucinations. She's got delirium, and she's voicing it, and she couldn't sleep for days. I mean, it's like, sometimes they read it out loud, and I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking horrible. Oh my God. And then you sometimes I look at the medications, like, well, I can't, like, some of them, they weren't even taken that much. And then I'm like, well, was it the medications that tricked her psychosis, or was it her not, or did they not even have really much of an effect on her? I don't know. Seroquel, I don't know if you've ever taken it. I tried it. It made me feel like I couldn't get out of my couch. And Remron, I couldn't stand up either. I could not get off of it was holding me down. Sarah, I thought I couldn't breathe. I needed it out of my system, and I took it one time. It was 100 milligrams they gave me, and I felt stuck to my couch. I couldn't get up. It was, I felt like something was trying to hold me down, and I never, ever, ever touched it again.
And, and that's what part of the thing is, like for her, like,
that was my breath.
She may not have, they may have been like certain, like the Zoloft or this or that, you should take more, or, you haven't taken it long enough. But if somebody has an adverse side effect, or, or makes them feel weird or what have you, they're not going to want to keep taking it. But a lot of people, it's a matter of finding the right medication. I know I have, I'm on medication and I take it daily. And it's not that medication's bad, or all medications are poison, or will make you do things, or will make you psychotic like her. I think, there's each person's body is different, and you have to find what works for you, whether that is or isn't medication, what kind of medication.
There's so many, though. Oh God, there were so many written to her. I don't know. This is another thing. I don't know how you go into a system. There's a system that they can go into to see what medications, no matter what doctor it was. I know when I'm at my doctor every month, when he writes my prescriptions, when I take gabapentin now, he goes in there to see what else I filled. So like, I don't think that, even if I don't know, like, tell them to throw them. I don't know. I don't think you should be allowed to hold on to that many different medications. To me, you're just taking her word for her. I mean, I don't know. She probably was following the directions or whatever and not taking them. But at some point, like, I think by the end, there's too much in her system. Ativan, so she's got benzos in her system, a little bit of a diazepine, which I think is, or the amitriptyline, which is, I don't know if it's not an SSRI, but it's also not something else. It's wild. And I didn't realize, I thought at first that all these doctors worked together. I thought this was part of a team. When they said team, I thought it was the short-haired lady, then Gelada, then Tufts. I thought they worked fucking together. I didn't realize there were different places. That blew my mind. She went to these different, and these different doctors didn't talk to each other. I don't understand. It was so close together. It was almost, there was one a day almost. Different people.
Yeah. Well, because she started with one psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist was very young. It was like maybe her first year out of med school. Tufts.
Yeah, she might have been her first patient. She might have been her first patient. I don't know. 1 month later.
And Tufts kept, but I mean, and the thing is, for folks that haven't watched the trial, she did discuss with them, okay, well, do you think I can taper off this? Or I don't like the way this makes me feel. And so for a lot of them, she would taper off or stop taking it and, and take something else. And then she wouldn't like that, the way that would make her feel. Or she would say it didn't help. And then,
But I guess she never had a break from them all, I guess. You know what I mean? At one point, she just didn't have a break. And maybe not having a break from them just really, because she taper up, but she'd be right back on something else. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's no downtime, right? Like,
but I don't know that she would need downtime because it depends on how long the half-life is of the medication. So if she took something and it's got like a short, like if she took like whatever it was, like half a pill to, and took half a pill and then took it and then was like, yeah, this is making me feel weird. And they're like, okay, just either stop taking it or now like take less. And then like after a couple of days, don't take anymore. Well, a week later, you're not going to have it in your system.
So did she? Yeah, I didn't know she would go like a week without taking anything. I guess I don't know.
Well, I don't know if she ever went like taking zero medications, but if she took like they've had like they've gone through it. I think if we would have written it down because they've gone through like, well, she took this many milligrams of this, and then she stopped it, and then she talked, and all the doctors knew about each other. So
I didn't think they did, though. I didn't think they did. They did.
Yeah. Yeah,
because to each other.
Well, that's part of the issue that I feel like the defense is pointing out, because he would say, "Well, did you go get the records? Did you do this?" And they were like, and they would say, "No, she reported that she took this, this, and this," and I believed her. And it seems like she was being honest about it. But the doctors never. I guess I have a certain bias, and I'll say that I feel some of them were just lazy,
I believe that too.
Yeah. So like the first one, I feel like she didn't take her seriously, and she just kept saying, well, you have generalized anxiety. You have generalized anxiety. And I feel like she went to that lady the longest, and then and then she was like, you just keep upping my Zoloft, and this is not working. So then she went into the inpatient place.
And she's seeing Gelada. And then she's seeing Gelada in the meantime. She's seeing it seems like a different person almost every other day. That seems very unnecessary and very excessive.
So if she felt like she wasn't getting help, that's when her mother-in-law suggested the other people, and she started going to see those other people. One lady she saw like once or twice, and that lady was moving to New Hampshire or something.
Right, passed her off.
Yeah, and so she referred her to somebody else. And then she also had I don't know if yours is like this, but sometimes if you have a psychiatrist, they just handle your and this is something I personally don't like.
Me neither.
A psychiatrist and I experienced this whenever my friend said, "Look, go see somebody." The psychiatrist would be like, "How you doing? You okay? Here's your medicine." Well, and then I'd go to talk about something. They'd be like, "Talk to your therapist about that."
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what they were for.
Yeah, and the therapist is like, "Well, no, I don't handle medication," and so So she would have a psychiatrist and a therapist, but they wouldn't always be like, even if they're with the same group and they supposedly work with each other. The issue was like on the last one, the therapist, they were with the same medical program and they knew who each other were, but the defense asked the therapist like, okay, well, when you looked at blah, blah, blah records, and she said, remember, she said, I didn't look at them. And he was like, could you not see him? And he's like, I thought you were with the same medical group. She was like, yeah, I could see him. I wanted to make my own opinion or something like that.
God.
Remember her?
Yes.
That was Gelada.
Okay, yeah. She saw her 4 times. I just feel like you're telling her, you're seeing this one. Okay, lady, I saw you today. And I mean, to me, like, that is somebody that's desperately trying to get help and doesn't, like you said, doesn't feel heard. Maybe you're like, they kept turning her away. The thing with, I was about to Massachusetts, like I said, it's not a law now. It's not a law. You can literally refer them and send them to, and that should be good enough, having no plan. I mean,
and I don't know in Texas what what it is, or if that's even just a nationwide thing. I feel like part of what, for me, whenever I think about what would be justice for these kids, it's not putting her away in jail. She's already going to be in a mental facility.
Honestly, I don't think, if the jury is honest, Sarah, well, I'll get the instructions up. The way they have them, it's a little bit different. I don't know when they change them, but in defense diaries goes over and it reads, if they're honest with themselves, she's going home, but she's going to.
Well, by home home is still going to be a mental institution for her.
No, there's an option to be not guilty by temporary, like it's like intoxication or something. Which means
but she still
goes home though. No,
but she's so I guess maybe she won't be in a prison psych ward. She would be in a psych.
No.
Well, but she's in the psych facility right now.
They're holding her now because she's on trial. She hasn't gone to trial yet.
I guess my understanding is more like
we thought
she needs. So I guess we'll have to look that up. My understanding is like she reads in and of itself, she already needs. She wants medical and needs medical help.
Well, this is the thing. That's what we thought. So Defense Diaries pulls them up yesterday or the day before. She reads through them, the actual what they're going to use for these jury instructions. And Sarah, I'll go through it. She goes through it and she says it. She's like, "Oh my fucking God, read this." So it goes in and it's like, there's like 2 different ways they have to prove this. But it's the state's key. It's really wild. I'll finish paying this officer so then we get through that and then. I don't know if we'll go to that right away.
Yeah, no.
We'll get I have Tufts testimony a little bit too. Then they're under 2 minutes. So the other ones are under 2 minutes. So I'll just finish this officer real quick. This is when he finds the kids, and then we'll move on to the other thing. Unless you want me to move on from this.
No. You your stream. Do what you do your thing, girl.
Oh, shit, where are we at? Okay. Oh my God. I was like, no, please don't lose us. Okay. And if this is just for the replay crew, I hope you guys are listening. And I notice I'm trying to see it from both sides. It's just really hard for me. But I'll show you guys to see why if you have.
Sir, did you head to that back room?
I did.
And what did you see when you...
This is the officer that was on scene when Patrick Clancy found his wife and his 3 kids.
Got to that back room?
Just past the door on the left side, there was a body of a young child.
And do you remember what position the child was in?
He had his feet towards the door and his head towards the wall.
Trigger warning, sorry, guys.
Was he on his back or his stomach?
He was on his back.
And do you recall what he was wearing?
He was shirtless. I believe he was just in a diaper or underwear of some sort.
And showing you
Thank you.
Exhibit 93, if you wouldn't mind just pointing out where you saw his body. Record reflect he's pointed to the area of the yellow exercise band.
It may reflect that.
And sir, that yellow exercise band, did you see that in that position when you saw the body of the child on the floor?
Yes.
Exhibit 94 was of that position. Sir, did you later learn that child's name was Dawson Clancy?
I did.
And can you describe his physical appearance when you saw him?
He was discolored, like a bluish purple.
Do you remember what his face and neck looked like?
No.
To me, this would be enough. I don't know.
What happened next?
I called for paramedics to come to the basement. I also called for a supervisor, and Officer Josephine picked up the child, and we ran him outside through the front door to the ambulance.
And did you do anything after that, after giving Dawson to EMTs?
We ran back down into the basement to check to see if we could find other children.
And what made you think there were other children to find?
When Patrick Clancy said, well, I can't wake them up instead of just a singular.
And so when you went back inside, did you go back down the basement stairs?
Correct.
And this time, did you go to the left?
Yes.
Start showing you a series of photographs. You could just tell me if they clearly and accurately reflect on the left side of the basement looked on January 24, 2023 when you went in there.
Sure, just for the record, they don't need to lay a foundation. I agree to the photographs, no objection to any of them, so we don't have to go through all the foundations.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Nice of him.
That is marked as the next exhibit, please.
All right. Oh. They said these officers had to get a lot of therapy after this, which is good. Yeah, if they have, at least they do that. Massachusetts, they're everybody's favorite people right now. They gotta, clean up their officers. Do you know Proctor, sir?
I know of him.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
his reputation precedes him.
Yes, it does. Oh, this guy! Look at this poor guy.
Yeah. Well, you could tell by his breathing and stuff earlier.
Yeah. There's another mouth breather remember at the end.
Well, no, but like you can hear like his breathing getting irregular and some of the sniffling kind of sounds that are.
I mean, I like
you
to
can
see
tell
that.
he's going through it.
I feel
And then showing you
it's so
exhibit
like
96. Is that a further view?
I know it's hard to watch, but I just feel like I haven't seen. I don't know.
Now,
I just
when you went into that room, what did you
maybe
see?
I need to feel it a little
There
bit
were
more.
two children on the floor.
It's not like I forget about the kids or anything. I don't, but maybe I just need to see this part. I don't know.
Motionless, and EMTs and paramedics were working on them.
And did you later learn that those children were Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
Did you do anything to assist the medics at that time?
Excuse me. I asked if they needed any equipment.
And did they ask you to get some equipment?
They asked me to grab a heart monitor.
And did you do that?
I went and found the fire captain to ask where I could grab one, and he was pretty upset. So I ended up going back downstairs into the basement.
At some point in time, actually, if I could show you Exhibit 96.
But I felt like they could have had one, maybe two of witnesses like him, but they brought on quite a few. Yeah. And I felt like they showed quite a few pictures. And the thing is, like, if I was a juror, I got it. The kids are gone. Right. I don't need you to show me in graphic detail. And that's where I get like, you're trying to make me angry and want to, and want to punish her.
Yes. Malicious prosecution.
But I guess that's where I am struggling. Like, I don't feel like they have a good case or a strong case, and trying to make me do it through like a retribution or revenge. Like it's not
right. And that's the thing. Like
that's not the appropriate path.
This isn't the only. This is the only one I'm going to play with. This isn't the only guy they bring up here and start to go over. We don't need to know. Nothing's in dispute. Like Kevin Reddington said, I'm not disputing it. You don't have to show the pictures. It's like even the judge, I think, is getting it. The judge is even kind of like, come on, man. What are you doing? And at one time the judge says, look, are you trying to say, she's like, we're not trying to say her suicide was fake. We're just saying she could have used other methods. She was successful in killing her kids. It's like, what the fuck does one have to do with the other lady? We know.
Yeah.
She used different methods. What the fuck did she? Sorry, she didn't die. Are you mad about it or something? Like, did you want her to die? It's like, you seem like you're a little mad. It's kind of like, you said it's a malicious prosecution is what the fuck it is. If this had malicious prosecution, then what is? Nothing is in dispute. You're doing things, and the family's there. It's not only her that's fucking losing it. You're punishing her, but you're punishing the rest of the family or parents. That was the kid's grandparents. What do you think that's doing to them? You think that the jury's not going to see these people getting devastated? And then you say, shut her up. Remember that? There's a hot mic moment where the defense, when Lindsey's, she's crying, she's devastated, and they just keep going on and on about this autopsy, and she's crying. They have to stop the thing. And this, I don't know which one of them said it, but there's a little hot mic moment where the defense goes, shut her up, or shut it up, or something like that. And they caught it, and Kevin, her lawyer, comes in and just loses, like, no. And he told on them, and the judge made a thing, oh, look, you can't talk. It's just like, this shouldn't even have to happen. You shouldn't have to say this. And then at the end, they say they want to see the logbook because the priest went back to her, and her father went back to comfort her, and they weren't allowed. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, like, get a fucking life, lady.
Well, because the judge was like, so are you going to call the priest? And they were like, no. Like,
what the fuck?
So it was, they acted like they were suspicious about who went back there, and they may,
What are they going to do? The fuck are they going to do? Take her out? She going to run? She can't leave. They're not going to grab her and run. Like, what the fuck?
Well,
she's in her mind, like, you know. And you're in front of her parents, putting these autopsy photos out. What the fuck? What are you punishing them for? Like, we know there's not in dispute how it happened. We're not in dispute how people did this. How many steps he took to the fucking ladder? How many lefts? You went left now, sir? Oh, you'll just see a body to the right. Like, yeah, we get it, lady. Leading up to this, what are you like? It's like this long fucking wall. Let's get to the fucking. And then it's like, and then you're devastating everybody. Like, what do you? And this guy just clearly does not want to talk about this. It's not. Why are you making him go through this now? You're making these officers go through it again. Like, do you think you're making any fucking friends over here, Bo Peep? Think about it. Nobody likes. Who's going to like this lady after this? She's making these officers go through it again.
Yeah. Their position is, we show how horrible this is, and then we want the jury to be pissed off so that they say, we don't care what she, she needs to go to jail and go to a prison mental ward type thing versus.
Not even because she's not.
You're right. It wouldn't be a mental ward. They're just saying no. They want her just to go to prison.
Yeah. They think it's all fake. Go right to prison. Yeah. She's fucking paralyzed, by the way. The state doesn't have really the funds, I don't think, for this. This is Massachusetts. They hang people. They're still stuck. These, for some reason, these women, people in her position, like Judge Marshall, with Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Judge Marshall's a woman, puts her in jail, right, after she's shot by a fucking partner.
That was a crazy case.
So that's into Massachusetts. Then you have Judge Aunt Bev, woman, punishing Karen Reed. And you get these two bitches are in Massachusetts, and they're punishing this poor fucking lady. Like, what is wrong with you people? If you've not learned anything from these cases, you make no friends. None of these women, nothing that you and your fucking, anything that you see, you're trying to punish these women that have great jobs and never do anything wrong. Like, all, like, they're punishing for having babies or being rich and, I don't know, being white. I don't understand. What is it? What are we hanging women for? Karen Reed, what are we hanging Karen for? Like, what the fuck is wrong with it? I don't understand.
Massachusetts still has witch trials.
Yes, that's what they keep saying. This is what they're doing. This is a witch hunt. You're trying to find. You have every text message she's ever did, and every single, and you couldn't use any of them because they didn't mean shit. You have the good, and then you have the good mom texts where she's also texting. Searching unicorns and colors and crayons and going to the great. She took her kids to the fucking museum. You're trying to show us how great of a mom she is. Thanks. You made the case for this defense. And then you see how sick she's getting. Like, this is the entire case. The entire defense is on trial. They put every single witness they put up there proved the defense's point, in my opinion. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you, it's crazy. The jury.
Point to us where you saw each child.
Okay.
Jesus. She's out there bleeding. Yeah. Hopefully they're getting her. So
for the record, the first area you pointed to was in between the blood stain and the black exercise band. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh.
And then the second area was over in front of that small nightstand or some type of shelving unit.
Yes.
Yeah. They said the cops on the scene were so upset. I can imagine. They said it was hard. They could barely function. I just can't imagine.
No,
like the reality of what I'll probably end this one now. The reality of like when she woke up to this, like the reality that she woke up to, I can't even, like, that's the hell that she was in hell already. And I feel like I said, whatever, something tricked her psychosis came on, and it was delirium, and it was tricking her, and that she had to do this, and that she had to end her life, and that she had to take. And I think because so a lot of the times when they would ask her why she wouldn't harm herself, she said, I didn't want to leave my kids, I didn't want to leave them without a mom, and I didn't want to leave my parents, and I didn't want to hurt me. And that was her reason for staying. And I think she got to the point where she wasn't staying here no matter fucking what. She was lost. She couldn't find her way back, and this time she's going. And the only way to escape it is to escape. But guess what? I'm not leaving my kids. So the only other fucking logical thing for psychosis is the kids are coming with me. I'm not leaving them without a mom. So the kids have to come with me. And I think not that like the psychosis, it tricked her into thinking that, which told her to do that. And she said, go to God. She thought they were going together. And I don't think this, and if that's what the state can still say that, because that's where her psychosis still told her to do it. You want to call it selfish because she didn't want to leave them here, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's still psychosis. She still did it for the reason to send them to God. And that's where she thought she was going, I believe.
Well, and I think the state honestly could make a better argument to say, like, she, exactly what you said, but she wasn't, she wasn't in psychosis. She just knew that she didn't want to be around anymore. And she was like, you know what, since I don't want to be around anymore, I don't want to leave my kids to somebody else. I rather just take them with me, like in more of a selfish motive like that. Then, and that would almost, to me, that would be a better, more believable argument.
You're so fucking right.
Than to say she didn't really mean to kill herself, or she didn't want to be a mom anymore, or whatever.
Fake suicide.
She's a criminal, and say,
yes, that's what they have to prove. They have to actually prove that she did this criminally. And even if it was, I think, I like you said, even if it was what you said, now they can't make that argument any longer, because I think the way it reads is that way too. So it's going to be wild when you go through it. But back to the doctor. So like, I think I'll play Dr. Tufts a couple minutes first. She's so this is like, and she's actually like Lindsey's age. So it's like towards the end, I think. Is it? Oh, it's not playing on there, guys, yet. Hold on. Yeah, I think she's around Lindsey's age, and this is
maybe even a little younger than Lindsey.
Yeah, and I believe like she was doing the telehealth, which again, I don't. They are part of that other place or no? Like, this is why I get confused. This is like one of the first doctors I think she sees.
It was, and I think she was. I think they tied to the first place that she admitted herself.
Yeah. Okay. And
I think I might be wrong about that.
I get confused. But yeah, like, so this is like Dr. Tufts. It's like, so this is like, I think they just go really kind of what medication goes every time she talks to her. It's like once a week for all the way up to the end.
One of Clancy's former psychiatrists faced tough questions about her experience. Dr. Jennifer Tufts returned to the stand this morning to be cross-examined by the defense.
Yeah, like you said, this is a psychiatrist, right? So like they just give medicine. So, okay, so I'll follow.
Yeah, I think she said like they would talk for like, what was it? She would bill like 17 minutes of like talk therapy, and the rest would be about medication or something like that.
Like, and I also found out if they don't make a diagnosis that day, they don't get paid or something like that too, which is fucking.
I think, yeah. So I think that's another problem is I feel like there's issues with insurance and issues with funding and treating the whole person from, top to bottom, medication and talking and that kind of thing.
Yeah, there's something lost there, because that's wild. But like, what's the point? If you're not going to talk to the therapist who's going to say to you, oh, this is what she's telling me, let's talk about what medication. Why wouldn't you talk about that? why the fuck would you not talk to each other about what you talked to her about and what you think's going on, so you guys can like come up with a plan together? Like, to me, like, what the fuck, you're gonna how the fuck are you gonna have a therapist and then you're gonna trust the patient to tell you what you talked about? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? How does that make any fucking sense?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, honestly, it would just be better if the psychiatrist was also your therapist. Do you know what I mean? Like,
if you're not going to talk about what the fuck's going on in her head, don't you think that that's the best person to tell you what's going on and helping you? Why is she self-diagnosing now? She talks to her therapist or the lady, but and then she's going to tell you what you talked about, I guess, right? You're not going to tell the other person that's giving you the medications for what your problem is. You're going to this person to talk to for the problem you're having. The same people that do that are also the medication people. You're like, it's an assembly line here. Don't you think like you guys should talk? Because I mean, what the fuck? You're gonna just depend on her to tell you what the fuck you and Mr. Therapist talked about? You don't know who the fuck. Isn't that the doctor's like job to fucking tell, like, to diagnose and like talk to the person that's gonna give her that's fucking important. That's medication. That's fucking important. She doesn't know if she's bipolar. She doesn't fucking know that. She says no, and they did, and I believe she was. So like, so why are you having no conversations? Now I'm starting to get mad because it's starting to dwell on me that like, oh my god, wow, how the fuck are we supposed to even?
Well, this psychiatrist didn't ask the questions, and the patient didn't know she was bipolar. The psychiatrist didn't ask the questions,
and they didn't. To a therapist, like, go to
the therapist didn't know either. But therapists also don't diagnose necessarily. They tend to do more like, we'll just do talk therapy, and then the psychiatrist diagnoses more like for medication.
Right, but if you're not going to talk to the fucking person that's talking to her, the therapist that's talking to her about what the fuck is going on, if you're not going to talk to her and you're just going to depend on what fuck she tells you, that doesn't make any motherfucking sense to me. You're wasting my time. You're wasting time. Like you said, one should be the whole thing, and it should be the one who sees her in person. If you're gonna fucking diagnose her with something, talk to the fucking therapist or talking to her and what she's telling them, because your little fucking boxes aren't working, lady. They're not working, and I'm really fucking upset right now because now I'm realizing what the fuck was happening. And really, what Kevin's saying, Jesus Christ, like, what is the point? What is the point? Pass me around all these people, but you're not talking to each other. So how are you going to come up with something? You say the team. I don't fucking see a team. How is it a team? Where's the team? There's no fucking team. She's talking to a fucking different person every other day, and they're not talking to each other. One's giving medication, and the other one's giving medication. It's like, holy shit. Oh my God, I just realized what happened. Every time I watch something happens, I realize, oh my God, like, I'm catching something different because I just started realizing, like, I didn't understand the jury instructions. I was really everybody's really confused about where she would go. And we're like, oh my God, if they're being honest about what we're seeing, if they're seeing what we're seeing, then they're going to send her home. But she's still going to need some kind of help. I mean, but if you look at psychosis, she should not be in psychosis anymore, obviously. So she's not a danger. You know what I see? You know what I mean?
Correct.
But she has medical problems, but that's not why she's behind bars. Her medical problems aren't why she's behind bars. You know what I mean? So
correct. So what
anymore?
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
So the thing is, like, I think when I'm commenting that she's still going to be in a medical facility or a mental health hospital, it's because she is bipolar still and is medicated and has a lot of medical needs. It's not so. Yeah, when you say going home, like, it's not. I mean, yes, like, home maybe in that, like, she won't be in the prison system.
Well, she's also not guilty either. She's no longer guilty. If she wants to stay in a medical facility, that's on her.
Correct. Correct.
She can go
but,
home.
But what I'm saying is, I don't want people to be. Okay, hold on a second. What I'm trying to say is, I don't want people to be confused and think that she's going to be out just like strolling around. She knows that she needs medical help. Right now, she's being medicated. And also, so she, from my understanding, she is already going to be going into a facility because of her mental illnesses. And she's still, my understanding was she was choosing to.
But is she still bipolar though? I mean, they say that.
Yeah.
They are diagnosed. They did diagnose her as bipolar now.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay, so she is, but just because you're bipolar doesn't have to be in a home.
No, but
okay.
I mean,
she's still going to be she's not going to be a ward of the state at all.
Correct.
She would be not guilty because she was intoxicated. It reads it like some kind of intoxication or something. Well, temporary intoxication, I think. I'm telling you.
I guess, okay, but I think you're getting hung up on the fact that I'm saying that she's going to be in a mental health facility. She is paralyzed. She is depressed. She killed her kids. You know, she is now bipolar, and she's been under medication, and she's been for the last couple of years on, in this process. So it's not like she's. When you say going home, I feel like there's this misperception of her being free and in a regular sense. It's not.
Pretend she's not. Pretend she needs no medical needs, right? This not guilty plea. What it would be basically a not guilty. So like
correct.
She can choose.
Not guilty.
And after that, she can choose to be in a facility if she wants to be, which I guess she already chose to do that. If she's but she would not be. On her record, she would not be convicted of anything. It would
correct.
Just say it was So that's what I mean.
She would be. It would be not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect.
Right, but the mental disease would be temporary. It reads as temporary. I'm telling you, it's a temporary intoxication. If they're
I guess when you say I don't know what you mean by temporary.
Right.
Are you okay? Stop and listen to my question.
Okay.
Are you when you say that temporary, are you talking about like for court records, or are you saying that, or are you saying, because I guess what I'm saying is
her psychosis was temporary. And
correct.
It was not her fault because of reason. I'm going to put
correct, but that's what a not guilty verdict is.
Yeah,
so it's not guilty by mental disease or defect, and that's the end of it. I guess what I'm trying to.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull how she reads it.
I know what you're trying to say. I watched the same stream as you.
Wait, you watched the Defense Diaries one?
Yeah, I put that in my Facebook post that's who I was watching with.
Okay, so you understand what it reads then, right? Yes, we were reading yesterday. All right.
Yeah, but I keep saying, and I feel like what you're not hearing me say is she's still choosing to be in a mental. I'm not saying she's a ward of the state.
Right. Okay.
But I guess what I'm trying to explain to folks and to you is she still has bipolar, and you're right. Just because she's bipolar doesn't mean she needs to be in a mental hospital. But at this point, she is so wrecked that is where she knows that she needs to be, because she doesn't even want to live anymore. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is it's not like she is just going home and going on with her life.
Well, she could if she wanted to. If she chooses to. If she gets better. If she chooses to if she gets better one day, she has the option.
I think our versions of getting better are very different. I mean, she's always going to live with the knowledge that she's killed her 3 kids.
But that doesn't mean she has to stay in a I don't know. Let me just if she chooses to, she can. I mean, I don't want. I feel like she probably would for a little while. I'm trying to find them. What day was it? It was like Friday, wasn't it?
I think Thursday or Friday.
I think Allie pulled up. I think. I just because maybe I have to hear her go through it again.
Well, I don't think we're disagreeing. I think you are you getting frustrated because I keep saying that she's going to a mental hospital.
Yeah, because I feel like it's not like she has to, but I mean, like
it's not that she has to, but I feel like you keep saying get better, like it's super easy, and it's not.
Well, it's not, but I mean, she can. I mean, listen, like, do you really?
I'm not saying she has to be in a mental hospital, but I'm saying where she is right now in her situation.
Of course,
she doesn't want to live. So she's going to be in one.
I hope so. I mean, if that's how I feel like she has the option to work through this, get better. I mean, if she's bipolar, she's bipolar. So am I. I mean, you can take medication. I know she's going to be depressed. Like, there's things. It could take. Maybe it takes 2 years, but like she should. Say she wants to go work and advocate for people in her situation one day in a couple of years from now. Like Andrea Yates. Okay, Andrea Yates. She can go home if she wants to, but she doesn't want to.
Yeah, she is elected not to. And so I guess that's where part of what I'm in my mind, I think I'm not saying because you're bipolar, you should be in a mental health hospital. What I'm trying to say is that for her situation, saying that she's going to go home is a very gives a misperception as to where she is and how it's being handled. That's my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, then what I'm saying is, like,
I'm agreeing with you that she's going to be, that she can be found
free.
not guilty.
I'll say she's
and
free.
that
Let's say that she's free to do as she pleases. But I mean, honestly, like, I would think that that would give her much hope to know that one day she can probably get better and maybe go home to her family and work through it, like, and have somewhat of a normal life. She doesn't have to be locked up for the rest of her life. It's just because she can get better. She has the option to get better and work through this. I mean, listen, it's there are women that have done this that have survived 25 years.
Well, yeah, and I guess I'm trying to provide a little bit more of a maybe realistic perception as to what's going to happen next for her, because I don't think that she's going to be going, like,
she's not going to go.
She will be out. She will know, like we've said, Krista. We're both agreeing that she's not that she could be found not guilty, and at that point, she's not a ward of the state.
Yes.
What I'm trying to say is she has a long road to go, and yes, she can advocate and and all of that. But I guess
how long it's been though. Like she's had also lots of therapy since then. Like maybe. And
are we watching her sob her eyes out at the same trial?
No, I know that. I'm saying she's had also therapy. I know, but like I'm glad that she's feeling it's like it's finally like I don't like how they're doing it to her. I don't like that, but it's like. I want her to have some kind of a hope. Like I don't want her to feel like she like okay, so she's like, oh, I did this to my kids. She's feeling it and everything. I want her to have it like, if at least she knows that like she has an option one day to go home to her family, that she can work through this, and like this isn't the end of her life. But I personally don't think she wants to live, and I don't think she's going to live much longer. I don't feel like she will, and I think she might take her life, and it really hurts. I really think she should be, but I don't want them to make her stay there. If you know what I mean, I don't want them to make her have to stay there.
Krista, they're not making her, Krista. If she is found not guilty, they're not making her stay there. She has already discussed, like she already knows that she's already said she doesn't want to live, and so they already know that she is going to be in. That's why I keep trying to say she is going to be in a mental health hospital. She is not in a good place. I mean, she's just going through seeing all this shit right now. So Krista, she needs to be in a mental health hospital after going through all this and to get her head on straight. And that may
be a better one though. Like maybe she could go to a better one than where she's at, maybe, because isn't this one that the state chooses?
Yeah, the one she's at right now is probably a state because she's a ward of the state.
Right.
So I have no idea as to the different options, but the thing is, like, she is going to be in a facility because she is going to have to work through all this shit from the trial. And she's going, and honestly, look at Andrea Yates. She could go free. I mean, she killed her kids like over 20 years ago.
Yep.
And Andrea Yates could go free. She doesn't want to. She's elected to stay in a mental health facility. And that might, and I guess I'm just trying to be realistic for people. This woman lives with the fact that she loved and wanted to have kids, wanted help, and now she is paralyzed. She has the knowledge that she murdered her 3 kids. Who knows what she may remember it. She may not. I don't know.
I feel like that's what she's going
she
through
also
right
is. But if she may have the memory burned into her brain, or but she's also got to relive that through this trial and all the 911 calls, the autopsy photos. I mean, she didn't have to, like, the autopsy photos wouldn't have been something that she would have had in her memory. That's new shit that she had to see. And so, and then she, and her husband has, they've divorced, and he's moved on.
That's weird. Do you think that's weird or no?
I don't know that I would have been, even if I could like understand that somebody that, I don't think it's weird. In that you could know that somebody wasn't in their right mind, but I would think it would be really hard to look at and be with that person again for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like, I think you could probably look at her and be like, I hate that this happened to you, but I also can't look at you and be like, I love you, but know that you killed my 3 kids.
Right.
Like I don't blame him for not being able to be in that situation anymore.
Yeah, and I think he married somebody. I think she's a nurse. She's a nurse too, or something like that. His new wife.
Yeah, I heard that he got remarried. I heard that he even had kids. I think for me it would be hard. I saw that in a chat. So that is not, take that with a grain of salt.
Right.
But but I don't know that I would, like, I think in some ways I would not be able to have, like, I would think that would be weird, but sometimes people find it like,
it's 3 years. It's only been 3 years. It's
well,
he got married
but
in April.
I mean, that may for him be, he's able to throw himself into like, I don't know. I hate to judge with that kind of thing.
He probably feels like I would be lonely, and I think I would have to put myself back in. Even though it would be hard, I don't know if I could be alone, and I would want my family, because they both have lost everything. Patrick and Lindsey lost their entire life, and Lindsey took that from them. But yes, he has every right to move on. Well, it's only been 3 years, but I feel like okay, but I would be lonely, and I would maybe.
If he loved being a father and found somebody, and if that person wanted kids, like I said, I don't know that I would be able to have kids. Like, it would, looking at them would make me think of my kids, but people also have, like, maybe their kids like have a tragic accident and they still have another kid. You know what I mean? Like, so, or if somebody's kid got, killed in, whatever way, they still have other kids, it's not that. So
you don't stop being a parent,
I don't know. And I've never, thank God, I've never been in that situation, won't ever be put in that position. So it's not something I have to decide or go through. So I try not to, I mean, like, I may have a, like, ooh, that feels icky gut decision, but I'm also it hasn't been 3 years for me. I'm just learning about all this. And I'm not living in it day to day. And, so I think, I don't know, I try to, like, give him some grace with that, or, but so, and I think women are more weird about it than men too. Like, I feel like I hear more stories of, like, women not having additional kids after like their kids passed or something like that.
They can't live on. It's even hard for them to move on. It's even hard for them to parent too. Like, if they have other kids, I know, like, my friend that killed, I have 2 friends that have unalived themselves, and their parents still had, like, my best friend, they still had kids, like, we had siblings, but my one friend's mom, she hasn't been a mom ever since. Like, she just couldn't, and it's sad because, like, she's like my mom. I lost my mom and my sister that day. So they feel like some parents, the woman can, and the men can sometimes, I guess. But Patrick, he liked being a husband and a father, and he married, his mother's a nurse. Lindsey was a nurse, and then he married somebody. It's kind of the field of that. Like, it's something like, I think maybe like a specialist, a fertility specialist or something, something along the lines of that. But, like, somebody in the healthcare field, where it seems like he likes women that take care of, and that's what Lindsey was. She was a great wife, a great nurse, a great mom. Like, up until the day he left, like, everything was fine. In his eyes, not fine. I'm sorry to say that it wasn't fine, but she was having bad days. But I think at that point he was used to what the days were, and he said that was a kind of a better day than usual. And that's what's hard to hear. It was hard to hear their messages. So, let's see, what am I gonna pull up? What should I pull up? I mean, should I pull up Dr. Tufts, or should I pull up the notes, or what do you think?
I just plugged my phone in. I've only got like 17%. We've been going for 2 hours, so.
Should I pull up
I don't know. Do you want to?
Should I pull up the notes that she left? In her note.
Yeah. I was gonna say, maybe, we can do like a part 2 if you want, or we can cover like a little bit. But I don't want to. I'm not sure. Like, I plugged it in, but it's not like at full charge anymore, so I don't know how much longer it'll go. So like, I don't know if you only want to do like 30 minutes. Sorry, I don't mean to talk how to.
No. They just said, I'm sorry. I want to apologize for cutting you off earlier. I'm sorry.
No.
I'll try.
I just wanted I wanted to be on the same page, and I feel like I knew where you were coming from, but it's not like I was saying that she shouldn't have hope. I would want her to, but I also don't want the message that's being like given to folks as like she'll be like hunky dory, because that's not,
No,
you know what I
no.
mean? Like that's not
Yeah.
the position she's in. Is, you know, it's just a matter of like, for legally she'll be not guilty, but you know, and hopefully one day she will, you know, she'll be in a position to advocate so that the changes that are needed, like that can be done in memory of her kids, you know?
She seems like if she was all with it before, like, I feel like, I know that she's lives with whatever she's like, you know, to me, like, I don't know if they've had her on medicine this whole time. It's hard to, I don't know, because I feel like now what she's going through, I worry because I don't know how good her care is, because it's a word of the state kind of hospital thing. And I worry that I hope that she has, like, because I want her to, I mean, I don't want her to go home or go where she has to go, where I get back to the, I don't know what it's like, a hospital place, but like, and have to deal with that and have no like therapy. I don't know. It seems like she's nurses.
Yeah, no, she has 2 nurses with her, but I think all of that is, my understanding is through like the state. So, and I don't know, you know, what the path is, you know, once she is no longer, like once she's, I say one, because I feel like she will be found not guilty by mental disease or defect.
Yeah.
But at that point, I don't know, like, will her care then convert to, like, if she wants to stay at that same place, is there a way for her to do that through not, you know, not a ward of the state, or, you know, and they may provide more details about that later.
Right.
But
we're jumping ahead, and I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, you know, that's something that, you know, we could maybe like
time.
Yeah, well, and we could look that up, and then, you know, because the other thing too is, you know, I think as far as punishment, she's living in her own hell.
Yes, exactly.
And, you know, there's nothing that could be done to her at this point that is worse than what she's living through.
You're absolutely right. And
I'm
not trying to, and the only way, like, I guess I'm saying it wrong. Like, you know exactly what I mean. Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah, but I didn't want it to be said like, like, oh, she's going home, she's going on a cruise, or, you know, like, no, she's got a lot of like work to do on herself, and who knows how, you know, and then honestly, any work that she probably has done has been set way back by having to see all this stuff. And so, so honestly, what I think would be the best justice for her kids is having reform, having more funding, having better, you know,
care, maybe
better care, better line of sight on mothers that say they're struggling. You know, there needs to be, you know, not fear that the kids will be taken away and they can never get them back, but a way to have a plan in place so that if somebody is struggling and has, you know, just even better communication amongst the doctors, you know, just, I feel like there's a lot more funding in general, because I think something I heard about, and I don't know the accuracy of it, is because there's so many mental health issues, if somebody, the reason that if you don't have a plan, they don't really do much is because there's, you know, I guess they only have so many people and so many beds and so many things that it's like they don't, you know, they don't have the resources to take care of it if it's not what they, I guess what they did or deem, you know, an immediate or urgent.
I mean, well, like the thing, like,
but to me, like that's already urgent. Just be like, you're thinking about it. Why are you going to let it get even worse?
Like you said, like, you know, just because you don't have a plan doesn't mean you're not going to jump out a window.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You can hang up and there's your plan. Like, that's we're already, like, we're letting them jump in the river and drown already. Like, we're supposed to be helping people out of, like, we're not supposed to be helping them out. We're supposed to stop them from jumping. Like, you know what I mean? Just because they don't have the plan doesn't mean they're not going to jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had friends that literally drove up to their bridge, got out, walked out, didn't even think that people saw him, and he just jumped. Like, it wasn't even a thought. Like, he just knew what he was doing, you know? And I've had 2 friends do that right here. And it's like,
I mean, your plan can be formed that quick and follow through that quick.
Exactly. My sister, her best friend, she took her to hunting rifle in the house, like, you know what I mean? And she shot it once, I guess, to see if she could shoot it. And then to me, that would have woke me up. I don't know. But it didn't wake her up. And she took her dad's hunting rifle. So like, you know what I mean? No plan. But you just lost your daughter, you know, you like lost custody, all these things hit her at one time. And there was no plan. She called and said she was doing it. And because she was saying it so much, her daughter's father said, fuck you, just do it. Stop saying it. Do it. Like that was, and then like yes. And we went to her house. We literally left there. It took us 5 minutes to get to her house. And by the time we got there was like 17 fucking cops. 17 cops. Like just, and we knew she did something. And she did. She took them. And they like, and they wouldn't even let us in. But like, she didn't have a fucking plan. She said all she said was, I'm gonna fucking do it. She didn't say how. We didn't think she was really gonna fucking do it. We really think she was gonna do it.
Yeah. And to me, that's the problem with you've got to have a plan is, you know,
she shouldn't have been
you're already thinking about it. It's just,
right.
you know,
we tried.
Yeah.
We thought that she was gonna go to jail. You know, we tried to get her to go to put herself into a crisis, so she wouldn't have to go to jail right away, so she could get clean first. Like you showed, like, you know, she was on drugs. Like show the system that like maybe she could get clean first, but she didn't want to. She was going to go through withdrawal. That was it. Like she was just going to go to jail. She didn't want to go to jail.
Yeah, and that's where all of that kind of intersects with, you know, mental health and, you know, abuse of drugs and some of those things that.
And listen, and then also it's another problem when you have mental health issues, and if you go and you turn yourself in crisis and you have a drug problem and say you're a self-medicator, all of a sudden they treat you as an addict. You're no longer a mental health patient, and you're treated like an addict, and you're like, and then you don't get the help that you need. And then you leave, and then like you're fucking low. So like you're still self-medicating. They'll go right back to the street because you want to kill yourself because like you don't know why you're bipolar. Like with me, you're bipolar. And I was self-medicated. So every time I turn myself in crisis because I wanted to kill myself, because I'm on drugs, they treat me like an addict. I'm no longer a mental health patient. So it's like you put in the crisis ward, and then you have to withdraw. You have to do it like, and it's like okay, like, I still am self-medicated. I still need help. They would put me on. Like I turned myself in crisis the first time. I think I was like, I don't know. I was like, well, my parents took me there once when I was younger, but later on in life, I think I was like 19, and they put me on hell. Like I was there for one day. They didn't even talk to me. I was there. I was obviously addicted to drugs, but I still turned myself in because I was going to commit suicide, and they just started giving me Haldol, which was it's bipolar med. Which again, I at that point, I guess I didn't know it was bipolar. I guess I don't know how they did. But they didn't talk to me for 3 or 4 days. You know what I mean? So Haldol, I ended up taking, and lithium, and that, like, I took it for years, and I didn't know the Haldol's side effects were really bad. Like, long-term side effects are horrible. Like, I can't stop moving all the time. Like, I'm always twitching. Like, people, if you watch me, I can't stop playing with my hair. Like, I just, like, my nervous tics, everything. It's just, they get worse. So I didn't know that, so I stopped taking it. I stopped taking everything, like, 3 years ago. But, like, I've been treated for bipolar, and I guess, but, like, also borderline is also, when you say in borderline personality disorder, that also means it's not anything that's like, it's not a chemical imbalance. It's like a trauma-based kind of disorder, which like to me, like is much more, makes sense more to me. So like I just work through things, you know, last couple years. It's like if I get upset, I get upset. Like I have to be self-aware, you know. I don't, and if I think about ending my life, it's not, I really don't feel like I would. I say that all the time, but like I still have, I guess it's ideation, you know. Did you suffer from it at all? Do you ever think like
yeah, like, well, during the previous time I was talking about, yes. And then then later when it was some situational depression, all my family had passed really quickly. And then, and that was a lot of depression. I didn't have as much suicidal ideation, but then whenever I had to deal with my sister much, my brain would go there because she's, you know,
a trigger for you.
She has a way of making me feel like you know, a worthless person or in the way or whatever. Just so I mean, so honestly, right, we don't talk, and I am much better for it.
And see that, like, do you think people like look at you like you're the asshole for not forgiving her, like, or do you understand that you're trying to, You have to do this for your mental health. It's maybe they want to say you're wrong, but I feel like we have to, because it protects us from feeling like
Well,
that.
I mean, I think the thing is, like, she threw a fit about something, and I was like, I don't, oh, there's a lot of back and forth with, when you stop talking to somebody, rarely is it for one specific thing on one specific day.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I mean, if she's, I'm fine being, civil with her and stuff, but it's
Oh,
not that she wants a relationship either. And
yeah.
so, but I've always was the one that would, like, apologize or make it, make things better and smooth things over. And I've just said, I'm not doing that, like,
Mhm.
anymore. Like, I'm much happier without her, making me feel like shit all the time. And so, like, if she wants to work on a relationship, that's fine. It would be something we would have to work on, but I haven't reached out or done anything like that because,
You're not going to hand
but
her the
yeah,
gun to
I
shoot
mean,
you with
they
again.
do, it's because it was always on her terms.
Mhm.
Um, and I've just said I'm not doing that anymore. And it's funny because people have, like, other family members have, approached me to be like, well, why can't y'all make, but it's
Mhm.
fun whenever I say, have you even talked to her about it? Well, they're like, no, because they know that she's the inflexible one and the one that's always, you
Mhm.
know,
Why are you
negative
going to
or
hand her?
whatever.
Yeah. Why are
And
you going to hand
so,
her the gun to shoot you with anymore? You know.
yeah, and I'm,
Right.
if we're in the same room, I'm fine with that, but I'm not giving her
You're not.
the power to
Mm-mm.
treat me like shit because
Right.
I'm withholding,
Your
my
rights at all.
relationship and I'm I'm not constantly putting myself back out there to say, like, okay, be my friend,
Yeah.
be my sister, be nice to me. No, I'm just like, you're another person in the world. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll treat you like any other person.
Right.
And that's, but whenever I did have those suicidal moments,
Mhm.
it would be like after Christmas, like going home, crying the whole way home because just
Yeah.
feeling like I've been, shit on the whole time. And it's like, when you don't have anybody else in your life and you're like, well, why is this person that's supposed to love me? Why do
Yes.
they not love me?
Yep.
Why are they terrible to me?
Yep.
That leads into that. And, a lot of people will be like, well, but, turn a blind eye to it or,
Oh, you're
kind
just
of
sisters
attitude. But
fight.
you're your
Yeah.
sis,
Yeah.
yeah, y'all are
Yep.
sisters, you fight, or, well, you don't have your parents anymore. Y'all should, hold on
Yeah.
to each other type of thing. And it's like, you can't do that for some, you can't be the only one putting into it. Somebody else
Right.
has to do that too. And if you're the
Yeah.
only one putting into it, it's somebody treating you
Yeah.
badly. It
Maybe
just,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe that person's just not supposed to be in your life. Think about it. Like
yeah,
maybe you're making the right choice no matter what. Like you're making the right choice for you because maybe that person's just not supposed to be in your life because maybe your life lesson was that you know what I got to
yeah,
learn to walk away this time from you. Like I'm not going to
yeah,
spend my life like handing you the gun to shoot me with every single time. You know,
100%.
like and you have
Yeah.
to protect your peace. And if nobody understands that, then it gets lonely sometimes. Like for me,
Hmm.
I do the same
Yeah.
thing and then you end up being the common denominator. Like I feel like I'm the because I've had to do that for a couple people, right? Because like you said, like maybe I'm the asshole, but like I can't mentally have you, I can't have you have lying to me and Whitney cracked that in my house. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Letting you in all the
Mhm.
time. But like you said, like, when you said that really kept you to people they're supposed to love me, like I feel like with my sister, it's the same thing. I don't know why I would fight for her love. I don't understand. She was the one that shit on me the most. Like she's the one who made me feel
Mhm.
the worst. And I
Yeah.
and I had to and the same thing. And like people like, oh, your sister's but like, no, I don't think we're supposed to be like I don't think so. Like, and it's like, why would I keep doing that? Like and then you're like, but then I'm focused on why doesn't she love me? Like what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like you focus
Yeah.
on it. Like I guess I fought for it for
Y
like you don't know
Yeah.
why, but the people
Yeah.
that then you like focus on that person. It's like, oh my god. And then there's one other person. Oh, if they don't fucking love me, what the fuck? Like if those two people don't love me, then nobody is. That's
Yeah.
how I
And
feel.
it really and it gets in your head and when
Yes.
it's and when you feel like you can't please them, you're constantly
Mhm.
trying to do like trying to make you love me type. And it, and when you feel like you can't, it makes you feel very worthless. And it's, and then you end up, for me, I end up feeling like, well, why am I even here?
Right.
If the people that are left, they're supposed to love me. So for me, I had to kind of be like, okay, you know what? That's somebody that, I don't need to give them access or give them the power to make me feel like that. So,
It feels,
you
don't you
have
feel
to
better
kind of
when you make
draw
that
that
decision?
line.
Yeah, doesn't, I mean, I know when I made that decision, like I felt better. I felt weird, like it was almost like a relief, almost like, okay, like I just
Yeah.
need this, like, and you knew, like, I just knew I was never going to like let that happen again. Like it's not going to happen again. You know what I mean? Like, and it was almost like
Yeah.
a relief that I had made that decision, like, and almost like, okay, like in my mind, forgive that person, but just move on and just pray about it, like, and I just sounds
Yeah.
goofy, like, pray about it and just know that, like, I can do, I'll find, it's just, maybe they're just not supposed to love me. I don't know. Or maybe they know and they don't know how to, or something. And if it's me, then it's me. Then I'll work on it. But they're still not going to come back in my life. Like, because there's just too many times they
Yeah.
can punch you in the face where you're like, no, like, it's
Yeah.
not, like, I'm not going to let you keep, because if you keep going back, like, we're the weaker ones. We're the ones that are more sensitive. We're the ones that take things the hardest. So why are we going to keep going and letting them, like, no, like, why do we have to keep doing that? And you have to
Yeah.
fight for you to love me, like, beg for that. And then you shit on me still, and I got to take a little bit of it because you're my sister. I'm just, oh, because
Yeah.
you're sisters. I hate that. Like,
Yeah.
like that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean much, really. Like in my reality, that just really doesn't mean anything at this moment. Like,
Yeah.
not right
I had to mourn the
Yes,
relationship
yes.
that I wanted to have, because we never had that relationship, like
Yep.
I'd be like, oh, and I'm like, okay, you're sad about that, but you never did those things together, or you never, like, or like when you did travel together, she like different things like that. You're like, okay. So then, like, once you kind of are like, okay, what, if you,
What role were you playing
yeah,
here?
if I mourned the relationship I wanted to have and that I hoped one day it would look like.
Right. That's
And,
what I'm saying.
and, you know,
That's a
the
good
the
point. That's
things
a good point.
that I would miss, like having somebody that had the same memories as
Yeah.
me. But I also felt a lot of relief in not constantly, like you said, being punched in
Right.
the face,
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yes.
It, if and so then you're like, you start to realize, like, you do feel lighter with certain
Yes.
things, and and then you're like, okay, well,
You
now
feel safer.
I don't have, I don't have that same negative voice,
Yes.
and it may not even have been their intention, but it's what was the cycle.
Yes, your perception is your reality, and that's the bottom line. Well, how we perceive things, it's not like other people. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes it make me like, maybe we're too. It's really, we're sensitive. Really, I'm really sensitive. I guess that's how you are too. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
everything hurts me. So, like, I
Yeah.
take everything so much more, and then I also talk myself into, like, maybe they weren't intending to do it, but like
Mhm.
it's just, but you do, like, when you make it this, even if you are the common denominator, like, if you put that wall up and you're going to be good, like, it does feel much later. And it's like, it takes a little while, but you just kind of want to forgive in your brain, and okay, like we had this whatever soul contract. I learned this, like, you just take it as a life lesson, and almost like it's a good thing. Like, okay, I learned that I'm not going to let people, I am never going to let somebody like that treat me like that again. So then you almost even, like, make it into like a life lesson where, like, okay, they did their job and that's it. Like, I can let them go in love, and that's it. Like, they were here to teach me this life lesson. And I know that I'm not going to let somebody that could, like, even if that's the wrong way to feel, you just know that you learned that lesson, and that's it. And you kind of just, like, okay, let it go in love and let them do their thing. Let them go teach other life lessons to people. Because really, I think, like, the biggest antagonist, and I hate this, like, I know this doesn't have to do with Lindsey, but, like, I mean, I don't know if this was what was supposed to happen. Like, but maybe the good that would come out of it. Like, I mean, this is her. I don't know. Like, this is a, like, hard one for me, because I believe, like, maybe she did code, so maybe she chose to come back. I don't know. I don't know if maybe something like that happened, but, like, I just feel like the psychosis part, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, I believe that must be over, but, like, if they say, I didn't know that she had a diagnosis of bipolar after that, which to me, still, again, I mean, I believe that medication is probably what would have probably put her as psychosis, maybe, if she is bipolar. I just imagine like all that like Seroquel and stuff, but like I do believe it was psychosis, but then I would also believe it's over, and now she's mourning actually her real life, which is I hope that she has the proper care. And I believe that Kevin wouldn't allow her to not. Like, I feel like if he sees what happened in court, I believe he's going to make sure she's got like some type of like care. You know what I mean? He's not going to want to lose her. You know what I mean? I don't want. I feel. Ugh. I just feel like.
Well, and her parents are there in court as well.
But I mean, like, what about? I'm saying afterwards, if she's there, where is she? You know what I mean? Is she in a hospital room with like a proper? I don't know. Like, is she allowed to see her? I don't know. I guess I'm like thinking too. I don't think ahead. This is what's happening now, but like I feel like when she hears that in court, like she's got to go home, or not home. I'm saying wherever she goes. I didn't realize like she goes back to like a state. I wasn't thinking mental hospital. I don't know. I guess I was going to look it up online actually, where she was, Turksbury or something. Mental something. But like
that might be something that we can look at next time. Yeah, but I think we'll have to wait for the defense's case to hear like where she is, right? Like as far as they may talk about like what her diagnosis is. Like none of that's come out in court yet, so we'll have to wait for it to come out in court. And then as far as what the options are, medically, that may or may not come out in court, but that may be something that's talked about later. I think right now the focus is, kind of just on proving her, how we got here. And,
that's a good point.
But I think, she has like I said, her parents and, like you said, Kevin, her lawyer. So she has folks around her and they know obviously that,
but like what
they hope the answer will be as far as like the verdict, but even then like that means that there's still going to need to be that care for her after this, for her to even like get her life on like the right track.
I would hope that too. Like I just would hope that it would go to like a better, more of a like maybe a private hospital. I don't know, because she needs a lot of. I don't know. Maybe I know she said she won't walk again, but I mean, just for just so she could. I don't know. I don't.
Well, I mean, these other. I think. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be. She tried to go to 2 private hospitals before, and they were,
Yeah, well, now she's,
but so I think
if they think she needs to be somewhere, I definitely think she should be allowed to go to like a better facility. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she will, because she'll be if they find her not guilty, they'll But there's gonna be a matter of money. I think there's a GoFundMe for her.
Like you made a good point there. Like we got to this point, right? And like I was thinking, like I'm thinking the defense case is made for, but we didn't think about they're going to want to know what's going on now, the psychosis and what happened afterwards. Because this is a good point. Like now, okay, that's that he can put on this. I didn't really. I was thinking like he was still going to defend what we've already talked about, but that's like you said. Now maybe they'll tell us more of what's going on now. Because if I'm a jury, I want to know what's going on with her now. Because I kept saying, for me as a juror, I'd want to hear from her, but I know that's not going to happen. Most they don't get on the stand. Like, defendant's not going to say it, but I also would want to know, like, what has she been saying? What did she say when she woke up? Does she remember? Like, I mean, what kind of, where's her mental state now? Because if it wasn't psychosis, and now she knows what she did was wrong, and this has happened to her, and God damn it, like, fuck now, you know what I mean? Like, but she, gets the proper therapy to work through it. Hopefully, and not medicated. I feel like she's probably been medicated this whole time, and that's not what she wanted ever. And I don't.
I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that she was. I think she wasn't getting the proper medication.
Right. So
she may be So, for example, lithium. Like I know other people that have had issues, and they've been on lithium. Like a friend's mom was on it for many, many years, and then it stopped working as her mom got older, and that was some trouble as they were changed. They had to go through some different medications to change it up and find the right thing again. So, I mean, it could be that because she was nervous about medication and side effects and that kind of thing, but I don't think she was opposed to medication totally. And I think, you know what I mean? Like, because she did start the she did start several of them, but it sounded like she was nervous about being dependent on medication. And she was nervous about the side effects from it and that kind of stuff. And she also, I think, was nursing initially, so she like stopped nursing so she could even take the Zoloft.
I do think I feel like if they would have just checked her hormones in the very beginning, we would never even have gotten this right. I honestly maybe don't believe that she's bipolar. I don't know. I don't know if she's really. I mean,
well, let's wait and see.
I think. Do you think bipolar would cause the psychosis though, or maybe the meds did? Maybe.
No, I guess from what I've heard, she like once, and I may be wrong on my understanding of this but once you become bipolar, you're bipolar, and I think she switched into bipolar and was having bipolar mania, and they weren't fully real, like, because that last doctor was saying like, well, you might be bipolar, and I think once your brain chemistry changes, it changes. So, and I think and they sounded like there's postpartum, like the baby blues, and then there's the postpartum depression, and then there's the postpartum psychosis. And I'm not sure, because I'm not a mental health professional, how that mixes with now being considered bipolar. If it's like, is it considered bipolar psychosis? Is it postpartum? I think it's I hear postpartum psychosis, but it could be that her brain chemistry has changed and she is now bipolar, and she may need medication, and that may, but also too, she probably is extremely medicated for everything that she's going through with the trial.
But leading up to this though, I don't see my problem is postpartum is postpartum, right? That just means after baby. I don't so she was nursing, so right away her hormones are going, they go wacky after that, right? But even during that. So I feel like maybe if they would have checked her hormones, she might have just needed some adjustment there. I don't know how the bipolar triggers her psychosis. They say postpartum psychosis, but I mean, so then you have to say what did the bipolar? Maybe the bipolar triggered the hormone change, or that triggered the bipolar that she had that maybe was sitting there and that was undetected before. You know what I mean?
I don't know that they could have I don't know that they can just check your hormones and see that you're in psychosis from your hormones.
No, it's not your hormone. No, I don't mean you're not in psychosis.
Okay.
Your hormone's out of whack where you get emotional and it causes depression. Instead of being you know what I mean? Women that are, after they have a baby, it's their hormones, and they have, it's because they're just had a baby, so it makes you depressed.
Well, but I think that's what they were treating it as, and that's why they were just giving her the Zoloft. And I think she was having, I think her brain chemistry, my perception, and like I said, they haven't touched on any of this yet, because they also weren't checking her thyroid on some of the
that's
stuff.
What I mean.
That,
say thyroid
that some of it, I think some of it's hormones, some of it's thyroid, some of it's other things. But it sounded like that she was having bouts with mania, or
so
some of the bipolar stuff when, and so if she had become, and I think they're going to have to educate us a lot more about this.
I guess it's not making
but
sense.
I think it sounded like that she was having manic episodes after the second kid, but not maybe kind of leveled out some, or maybe, I don't know how much time was between the second and the third kid, but then had the third kid and was having a lot bigger swing of her bipolar issues. And so I think my understanding is that she is bipolar now, and I don't know how that intersects with
when did that happen?
When did that happen, and did the medication make it worse and push her into psychosis? But she would have been bipolar already, but it wouldn't have been psychosis. Or some of those other pieces of and maybe the right medication would have helped and not made the psychosis, but it was the wrong medication.
I'm trying to think what they said about Andrea Yates. I think she was bipolar already, and I think that's what they said they triggered it. But because it's right after the baby, it's a postpartum period but I feel like that postpartum period is a year, so I feel like you also have to see when they stop nursing, because then that also would things go out of whack. Like, because she said she was depressed at first. That's all. She was having depression. So like,
Well,
but she
she
didn't
said
say
she
anything
wasn't
about.
sleeping.
Well, no, I think that's at first maybe. Well, I mean, she also has a baby, so like, you know what I mean. She didn't want to go back to work at one point because she couldn't. You know, she's like, no way I can like stay with the baby and then try to go to work and.
Well,
You know,
but they said that the going back to work was because she
yeah,
wasn't sleeping, not
yeah.
because she didn't want to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think she was like, well, yeah, because she can't sleep. I mean, think about it,
Yeah.
like, but like, you know, I feel like there's no way she, at that point, she should have went back to work anyway. But like, when I remember, like, I think when Dr. Tufts, I thought she was just depressed, and then she gives her some Zoloft, right? And so, and then all of a sudden she can't sleep. And then now we're giving herself to sleep. And then it's like, then she's anxious about this medication. And then, like, oh, and I don't know, I can't remember when the bouts of mania, like, the garage thing was that was like after the third, I can't remember. Or like, I don't know, was it this time? Because like I don't see, like, when you say bipolar, like, I mean, I could see bipolar psychosis, yeah. But I don't know if that what has to do with your, like, I don't know when they say postpartum. I know they mean like after the baby, but they're gonna have to explain to the jury how does the bipolar mix, like where did that come in at, and was it what medication wasn't working, or was it working? It was her nervous system that triggered something that like psychosis that trigger into what her worst fear was, like hurting the kids. Because I think maybe when they say when she thinks about the hurting the kids and herself, I think maybe they use postpartum. That's, I guess, part of what they say postpartum means has something to do with like after you have the kid. I don't know. Like I get really like lost with that part, and I hope, because I'm like,
Well,
wait a
they
minute,
haven't. Yeah. Well,
they don't
they
talk to
haven't
each other.
presented. They
Yeah,
haven't presented their part of the case yet. This is
yeah,
so right now
yeah,
the prosecution has just been putting it on, and
yeah.
you're seeing it from their lens of,
Right.
you know,
They
and
can't really
so
talk to
the
each other.
defense is able to make some points, but I think
They
we're going to
really
have to
have
wait.
actually. Think about it. They didn't. That what did they
No,
do?
but
They
they're
proved she
able
was
to
sick,
make
right?
some points through the witnesses for the
Yep.
prosecution, which,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
It's
like
good for it all looks good for Lindsey to me, because all they did
Mhm.
was prove that she was trying to get help. She was sick, and it looks like they realize they weren't communicating. So how could one diagnose bipolar if the other one doesn't believe she's bipolar? You know what I'm saying? One thing I think are bipolar, and she's got the other one saying I don't. You know, I say Patrick telling her no, she's not. No, she's not. And it's like I thought, okay, like maybe like she fought against that. So then I don't know.
Well, so
Something went wrong right after that. You know.
yeah,
I don't.
that was right at the end.
Yeah,
That was
something
the
was going
later
wrong.
nurse. That was Gelada, I think, that
Yeah.
said she might be bipolar, and he's like, "My
No.
wife isn't bipolar."
Yeah, that
And,
might have been
and
the
they
end.
said, "What did Lindsay say?" And they said nothing. So she may have been in her mind thinking, "I'm not," or her wheels may have been turning, and
Or
so she
she
may
gave
have been
up.
like, "Well, maybe
Give up.
am I? Like, what
I'm
what is
crazy.
what even
Yes.
goes on into that?" And
Oh my
she
God.
may have been like, "No, I'm not." And
Not
you
doubting
know,
herself, maybe too. Doubting that. Maybe
yeah.
she started to doubt what she was seeing and hearing. I
Well,
don't know.
and Patrick also could have been thinking, no, because my wife isn't doing,
Yeah.
you know, some
Weird
of the
stuff.
things that he may know of, like for
Right.
or he may not even be familiar with it, you know. So I think, you know, it
Like
was
seeing,
all in a short amount of time, honestly,
but like
you know,
hallucinations and all that. That's not bipolar. Like that's just
but that's the
medications,
psychosis.
I think. Right, but yeah, but
But that's the psychosis. So I
right.
think
I
there's
don't think
different
those were.
parts.
Yeah, but what part of that? I feel like the medication was working against her. Whatever
Well,
she was taking,
yeah,
that,
but
you know what I mean?
yeah, they're not saying she killed her kids because she was bipolar.
Right, that's what
They're
I mean.
saying that it was
Like,
because of
of the
the
psychosis,
psychosis.
but where did the
So that's
psychosis
the
come
part I
from?
think it needs. Yeah, don't
He's
get
explaining.
hung up. Don't get hung up on the fact that
Yeah, the bipolar
that
shouldn't
they're
be nothing
saying
to
that
do with
she.
it.
Yeah. So I think
I don't know.
we just got to wait a little to hear
Mhm.
more information.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like right now, we've only heard, you know, we
what she
haven't heard
thinking.
anything from the defense. We haven't
Yeah,
heard what
any
she's been thinking.
explanation?
We don't know like
Where's
what
the
was
bipolar
really
coming
going on with her at the time, because we know that obviously the doctors back then weren't getting the diagnosis right. And
from? Right.
so we have a little bit of
What
a
triggers
picture, but it's
psychosis? Yeah,
not.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
tell
we
us
don't.
where the psychosis comes from. What
Yeah,
caused?
yeah, nobody's come on and explained that
Yeah.
yet. So I think once
Oh
some
wait, there's Dr.
experts,
Laposado, right? Isn't Laposado coming on? She's
I
amazing.
think so.
You
And
guys
then
love her.
after we have that, we'll have the rebuttal
Dr. State.
witnesses from the state, and they'll come on and they'll
Oh, okay, okay.
explain that
I didn't know
maybe
we had them.
no, because we'll have the defense. Yeah. So right
Yeah,
now they're kind of proving she did the thing. We think she did the thing because she's
right,
evil. And
right.
that's what the
But they haven't proved
prosecution
it,
is
right.
doing. And then the defense is, using those witnesses to say,
Mhm.
but she was a good mom, but y'all weren't talking, those kinds of things, and cross. So they're able
Yeah,
to make some points that way, but then the
yes.
defense will make their case and they'll bring on
How
their
we explain
experts
it
and
more.
their
Mhm.
doctors to say,
Okay.
this is what's going on. Or they may say, like, right now they may say she's got this medication. And if she would have had that, who knows what they'll say. But then
Right.
the state will come back on and do their rebuttal. And they'll probably have some experts that say, no, that's not how it works, because they'll
Yeah,
just be
that's right.
so, we'll have to see how everything
I
else
mean,
plays out,
yeah,
but
kind of feel like I'm
we'll be getting more information
yeah.
as it goes on.
I feel like I'm rebuttaling it kind of a little bit like, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to backtrack and like unwind it and see like where we went wrong because I'm not a doctor. So sorry if anything. I'm just saying
No, no.
I guess we'll do a part 2 where we'll see how we got up to this point a little bit more.
Yeah, well, yeah, we
And then
can
we'll
cover like,
cover it
okay, here's
later.
what the defense has
Yeah.
provided for us, and we can kind of, discuss that and unpack it a little, and then see like, well, where do we still have questions, and then we'll hear the prosecution's, rebuttal, and
Forgot about
yeah,
that.
and then see like, okay, well, does that change anything about what the
Yeah.
defense has explained? It'll probably, we're like, okay, now I'm unclear again. This muddies the water some, and
Right, because
then we
listen,
may have to go back and
they
yeah.
never treated her for postpartum anything. None of them treated her
Yeah,
for postpartum, which is
yeah.
weird because
Well,
that
they
just means after the baby.
yeah, they just treated her because so the first doctor kept just diagnosing her with generalized anxiety disorder.
Which is like,
And and then she wasn't getting much sleep, and so, you know, because of, anxiety or whatever, but her issue was she was like she wasn't able to fall asleep. So, and it wasn't like that she, like could, she had other kids, but even if like she had the opportunity, it sounded like she
yeah,
was
she
having
could, right.
trouble sleeping.
And like he would have
Um,
hired more help too. Like he said, he was going to hire help for her to sleep. Remember, the one nanny she was able to like have the time to sleep.
yeah, and
So
she
like,
still couldn't.
right,
Yeah,
things were still going on. Yeah.
yeah, and so and that
I
anybody,
lost
when you've had issues sleeping, it totally messes with you as
Oh
well.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
would see things. I would start to see things like according like my peripheral vision. I would see like things jumping out and stuff. Like
yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't sleep for like 2 days straight. Oh my, I could be really manic for 2 or 3 days, and like
Yeah. And so,
ugh,
yeah, so at that point, it and we may hear like it's a combination of things. If she had become
yeah,
bipolar and didn't realize it and then had the wrong medication and wasn't sleeping, like, sometimes there's not just one thing. Sometimes, it's a combination of, a perfect storm of terrible things. So,
yeah.
that also may end up being,
I hope the
the
jury.
the
Yeah,
unfortunate answer is that there's a
they
lot
say
of
they don't
things went
actually know.
wrong.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
also the professors say that they don't know what causes postpartum psychosis because I believe they say it's postpartum. I believe it's because it's within those 12 months, but also it's because it involves their kids. I think so. Like I don't know. Like they say they don't know what causes them to think that I don't know. And like so to me as a juror, okay, she's bipolar, but where is it? What are you calling it? Postpartum psychosis? Where does that come from? Like, is it because is there something wrong with like hormonal that makes the bipolar like switch on or and causes the psychosis like as a combination of
Well, I
maybe
think as
I
part
don't
of
know.
postpartum, what
Mm-hmm.
kicks on is the bipolar
No, postpartum is
because
just
of
after the baby. That just means
well,
after the baby. Yeah,
postpartum means after baby,
yeah, like that
but
time. Yeah, that
after
time
baby,
period.
the hormone changes
Right,
and the brain chemistry changes.
right.
That's what I
That's what I
think is
mean.
causing the bipolar portion.
But it caused that, but it doesn't cause everybody bipolar. So it's like
No,
maybe she
but
had it right, like
well,
undetected. You know?
yeah, but I think that's the same way as like not everybody, gets
Yeah,
depressed or not it's like
yeah,
everybody's brain chemistry is
right,
different. And I
right.
think that's where for some people when they have kids
Yeah.
for, maybe your brain chemistry then goes back, or maybe it
does.
doesn't.
It
And if
does.
it,
It usually does. Like, that's why they treat
yeah,
it like a different thing. Like,
yeah, and that's why it's a shorter term thing. But like, and so for her, like the mania may not have been as bad. Like she had mania with the second kid, but they didn't diagnose it then or
yeah, like
realize
she
it.
never had it after that. Yeah, like I don't think she had
And
anything.
but then the third kid, it was worse. And so at that point, like, I don't know if that's temporary bipolar or once you become bipolar, like that's, so I mean, this is stuff that we've
Like,
got to get
like I don't even know like
more
when. Like,
education on. But the psychosis part is more where she
like, where
hears the command
right.
hallucination. So
Like, where did that come
that's
from?
a separate, like, I guess that's a different thing. You could be bipolar without having psychosis.
That's what I mean. Like, so like where does the psychosis, why do they say they're gonna have the George probably say, okay, you're saying it's postpartum psychosis. So can you please explain to me why they know that nobody knows how it happens, but like most women, okay, you're right, after that they're treated, it happens a lot with women with their hormones, but they don't treat it as bipolar. They don't treat it as like, I think it's like a whole different, like it's probably a whole different way of treating a woman, but it always goes back. They always go back to normal or back, and they know that. So they used to call it the blues, which I think was, that's when they didn't really do much about it.
But I think there's also, but I think there's also different levels. But I guess what I'm understanding.
She went to Tufts just because the first time she was depressed. That's it. But then after that was like no sleeping, and then after that the medication started well, I guess like it was like a. I don't.
But that's also what. But what I guess what I'm saying earlier is that's what Tufts is telling us. I don't trust Tufts
I don't trust her either.
To realize what all was going on.
Yeah, she never treated said she was bipolar, and for 14 times, never once. It was Gelada that said it, and like Tufts saw her 14 times and never treated her for bipolar.
Yeah. And the thing is, if Lindsey didn't realize she was bipolar, she wouldn't have known to tell her. Right. And if Tufts didn't do a good job and just was like, oh, you're down, baby blues. Oh, you can't sleep. Well, here's another pill to sleep. Like then, so that's where it's like, well, Gelada was a totally different therapist after Tufts.
That's crazy to me. Like,
yeah, because remember she saw the nurse.
Yeah, nobody realized anything about.
Yeah, because she had started seeing a different person for medication after Tufts, and this Gelada was the therapist tied to that group.
But think about it, she was still seeing Tufts too. Like,
went back and saw Tufts like right towards the end, but I think it was because that lady was moving to Massachusetts, and then the doctor that was replacing her was on vacation. Remember?
Gelada went on vacation, remember? And they tried to call her. She was like referred her to that place, and then she went on vacation, and they said they denied her because of the medications. They tried to call Gelada, and they said Gelada never called her back. And I don't know I forget what happened after that.
So there was the therapist and the doctor at the second place.
Moved. Yeah, Julie moved, right? That Julie Paul lady, and then wasn't it like Letitia Dukes after that? Wasn't she replaced?
Letitia Dukes is the one I was thinking that was the therapist, and Gelada was the doctor. So Gelada was the doctor and was saying, and went on and and was giving her the medication, and she was seeing Dukes, and Dukes never checked Gelada's record, and Gelada had and they and then Gelada went on vacation, and that's when she reached back, and she had talked to Gelada about like changing the medication, but that's when she like messaged Tufts because she was trying to stay on top of it. She was, in my opinion, she was trying not to take medication that she shouldn't, and she definitely was saying that she felt terrible on these medications, but also that she she was needing to sleep, and and was feeling terrible all the way around. So
she felt like she was out of her body. She couldn't feel her body anymore. She couldn't tell what was real. It was horrible. It was a horrible feeling, like you don't know what's real.
Yeah, and that is definitely, that's heartbreaking, and
horrible. to think about like hallucinations and not knowing what's real when you have 3 kids and you can't even drive to go. She couldn't drive a couple times, and you think about like she's trying to take care of her baby and like she doesn't know what's real, and she's like I and like I don't know why they should have taken her that baby play. I think it was called infants. I always say it
Women,
wrong.
yeah, women and infants.
You think they should have just taken her in that day? I mean, she must have felt horrible. She was trying,
my understanding is they thought that she was over medicated, and that was part of, and then that's when she reached out to Tufts to talk about weaning or to not be on a medication. So because I think she was trying to get off stuff so then she could get into women and infants, but I think, or women and children's, but I think so right now we're in theory territory, and so we need to hit the pause button and wait and hear. No, I'm just like, I'm checking myself too, because I'll be like, oh, but this, and then, I'm like going off of memory for certain things. And like I said, I got Dukes and Gelada, like the names backwards for like, I was thinking of the face of Dukes when I was saying Gelada. So like if I said something, I'm like, oh, well, now I've probably used that. They're probably like, no, that's the wrong lady. So, but yeah, I had gotten those, but those were the 2 that worked together. And then there was the other ones that, there was another, I guess, therapist, but she didn't talk to, but she had talked to Tufts quite a bit. But
like throughout the whole time. Yo, knock it off. I feel like she talked to her throughout the whole time. Like, she acts like, so I got a new one. Like I have 6 now. So I have 6 cats. Like I swear the 2, I just got a male, and then my female, she acts like she doesn't like him, and she literally will run, and he doesn't make any noise, but when he chases her, she's like, then she chases him back. Like, then I see her chasing back. I'm like, oh yeah, see? And then they'll be like laying in the same room together, so I know they're okay. But it's so weird. She like flirts with them. It's so cute. I love it. Anyway. I love you. Thank you for coming up with me. When do you want to do part 2?
Yeah, well, we'll watch some more next week and let's see how it's going. And then, depending on how much they get through and like what there is to talk about, maybe the end of next week, or if we need to do middle of the week. I guess it just depends on like how.
Yeah, see what we have going on.
Like what we have going on and how much they get through, or if it just feels like they're slogging through and we're not learning anything new.
Yeah.
So, because I felt like for some days of the prosecution, I was like, this is just a repeat of the same information that gives me nothing. So
it was always like, okay, we know she's medicated. Okay, we know she's medicated. Okay, we know we saw this doctor. But it's like I said, to get to the weird. Okay, so now why are you saying, where is the part where it's criminal? That's because like all they did to me was prove that she was trying to get help. If this is what's reasonable doubt that she's not a criminal, this is reasonable doubt that she might have had psychosis, right? Like how you don't know, like do you have all the signs of it? We don't know, right? But like that's the only really logical fucking explanation, because she's not a fucking murderer. So the other fucking option is that she went into psychosis and it's not her fault, and maybe it was this reason or that reason, but like, you prove to us that there's definitely reasonable doubt. Okay, this is all reasonable doubt right here, because how are you going to doubt that she wasn't sick? Look at everything, the signs of her being sick. Everybody says it. Everybody saw her. All the doctors said she's getting worse. She reported all the symptoms. So this, to me, is reasonable doubt that she fucking was, you know what I mean? That's all they have to prove, is that she was not criminally responsible. This is not criminally responsible. This is reasonable doubt that she might have been sick. Right?
Yeah.
What else is there? Like, this is, if you're being honest, if they're being honest with themselves, this is what the fuck reasonable doubt looks like about her. May or may not have had psychosis, but guess what, bitch? I'm sorry about Bose. Like, I can't stand her. I'm sorry, I'm not car bitch. But like, you're trying to prove she's a criminal. No, you did not. You gave them reasonable doubt that she might have been sick. Thank you. Bye. Not that she can go home, but like, you get away from the Bose and Mrs. like Judge Marshall and all those kind of women that feel like they're punishing all these people in Massachusetts. I don't know what it is with tons of Massachusetts. They go after Lindsey. She gets, oh my God, Lindsey, like poor Kelsey McSimmons, like poor girl. her ex is just a piece of shit. Oh my God, he's such a piece of shit. She ends up getting shot because he wants to take the kid from her, and then her mom. And oh my God, I wrote an open letter. I wrote an open letter to him. I'm like, I'm not a fucking man. I said, what kind of fucking man would do that to the woman he's supposed to love and has the mother of his kid? I said, you think you're doing shit for your kid? I said, you just ripped her away from her kid. Like, and then she's shot and you run. I said, you don't even go to her. You don't give a fuck. And you turn her friends against her. What kind of man does that? Smoking pot all day and then calling her, and then she gets shot and you run. I was so fucking offended at his mom and his sister for fucking taking that kid. Who fucking told him that was a good idea? Who told him that if she's sick, that you take her? You don't want to be with her anymore, fucking piece of shit. Oh, I hate him so much. I can't stand that scumbag. I was so fucking angry. I almost had to get help for that. I was so fucking angry. I wanted to find him. When I watched that video of what happened to her, I was so fucking mad, guys. I'm sorry. She was a police officer. Her fucking partner ends up shooting her, or like somebody in her. Oh my god, dude. Oh, she was trying
to. It's a whole separate stream. You'll have to do. That's a whole separate case.
My heart rate is going up because I just can't stand him.
Yeah,
he's getting what he deserves right now. Oh my god! Like how I just wanted people to know what a piece of shit he was. Oh god, that he's not what he said. Oh my god.
Don't give him any oxygen.
She got shot, for fuck's sake, dude. And the fucking judge puts her in jail. And then I wrote up another to the judge. Like, what kind of woman fucking does that? Like, who does that? Like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Like, how dare you put her in jail? She just got fucking shot. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is wrong with Massachusetts? Then you charge Karen. Oh my god, I can't deal. Oh,
yeah,
I can't stand them. I can't.
All right.
Think one fucking does it, the other's not doing it. One side's doing it, they're all fucking doing it. There's a whole fucking problem over there. There's a problem, a big one. This is part of it. All right, yes, we'll see part 2. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a different case, different topic. So, but yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll catch up next week. Okay.
All right. Thank you. I love you.
Love you too. I was glad to chat with you.
Me too. And everybody, if you're watching a replay, just leave your comments in the section. Don't worry, I won't yell at you. I promise. I'm not yelling at people. I'm very passionate, and it sounds like I'm yelling at people. I'm not yelling at anybody.
She's passionate, but
yes, I'm
it's
not yelling
from a good place. She has a big heart.
I'm just just an alien. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.